A question on the process. Apparently the house is occupied now, that's on this. Do you guys have a time frame for getting out? Excuse me?
Be out within 6 months or before.
6 months or before. So I guess my question is, it's my understanding anyway, that as soon as we change the zone, that house becomes, the use in the house as residential becomes
illegal.
prohibited in a commercial district. So is there a way that we can,
Grandfather it in for a period of time or
no,
something?
grandfather wouldn't be the word because we're changing it, but is there a way, maybe we can postpone the adoption for, we approve the adoption, but postpone it for a period? Is that legal, Linus?
Well, you have the discretion on enforcing the zoning ordinance.
No, we don't.
You do have the discretion. You heard that the individual is going to be leaving within 6 months.
Where do we don't enforce the zoning. The zoning officer enforces it, and if it's an illegal activity, then it has to go to the zoning hearing. But we don't have any say in zoning, except map changes.
Well,
It just becomes an existing non-conforming use.
Yeah, but it's one that we're creating. That's the problem.
I think that at this point in time-
I'd like to clear the paperwork up.
pardon?
Let's clear the paperwork up. If there's a way we can postpone it, I mean, they can use it for, they're gonna be developing it, but it's not gonna be used for commercial until the building's completed and all that. If we had a time frame, it would seem simple to, okay.
I think what you've got to do, the only thing that's before this board is amending this land. Whatever the people have to deal with, they've requested that it be rezoned.
Right.
So I don't think that's something that you have to consider.
I wanna help them.
They are the ones that have requested this rezoning. It is what it is. They want it to be commercial. If there's a use being made that's in violation, they're gonna have to deal with it. It's that simple. So
I'm trying to help them, okay?
So let's just make a
I wanna
motion.
help you, but I'm not getting any help here.
Let's make a motion to adopt the,
wait.
Can we hear what
too
she
many
has
people
to
are
say?
talking.
You're the owner, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
if she settles on a house next week that she's looking at, she'll be out next week.
Well, I mean, the question is, is there a time frame that's suitable to you?
Yes, we are
And is there a
perfectly
time
fine.
frame that's suitable to the purchaser, the Liberty? Is that if the process is we approve the map change, so you're gonna get your commercial zone.
Right.
But the actual change won't take place for 3 months, 6 months.
No, I don't think we can do that, Mr. Pals. The change will be effective when this ordinance is adopted.
Right.
But when we adopted the zoning ordinance originally, there was a 6-month delay. We adopted it in July, and it didn't take effect until November. So if we can do that then, why can't we do it now?
Why should we do it now?
Because
Well,
we're
I mean,
helping
I
our
guess-
neighbor.
If you're
No,
helping someone.
well, I'm saying it just seems to me, making the motion, changing the zoning, and like, if they can get out in the next week or so, I think we
But
can
they're
live
not
with that.
planning on it.
Well,
That's the problem.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking of a few things to try and solve this. I agree with Mr. Fenical that if the zoning change is made, it's made and it's effective. And then I think the people can come in, the residents can come in and essentially make application to the township to remain there, because it's an existing use. So there are some questions. I don't know that I want to get into things called vested rights or anything like that, but I think they could meet with your zoning officer and set, because I think enforcement, as your solicitor said, is the province of the Board of Supervisors. So I do think that if it's been discussed this evening, that they will be there, and then the change is effective, we could go forward with our plan. I think everyone is on the same page, knows exactly what the parameters of the plan is, and that is they would have, say, up to 6 months to vacate.
We're not saying that though.
Is that okay, I guess is what I'm asking. You know?
Now, I'm quite confused because our solicitor's trying to tell us, and you seem to be confirming that this board has some kind of say over the zoning. The zoning officer has say over zoning, as I understand it. And I'm worried a little bit about you, because if you have to come to us, to the township, and get a variance, quote unquote, to permit you to stay there for a period of time, it's $500 fee, because the ordinance says, no, you can't have a residence there, because it's now commercial. You gotta pay $500 fee because he has to say no, because you're using a residence. We can't say that. I disagree with our solicitor, I disagree with you. The ordinance clearly says, he enforces it, and he enforces the literal terms of the ordinance,
No, I
which say it's illegal.
I do understand.
She comes to the zoning hearing board, $500 fee, and a prayer that it gets answered.
All right, so what are the other options that
Well-
might be available?
Well, here's one other option. Most zoning ordinances, and I don't have yours right in front of me, but I imagine it's in there, that you would register a non-conforming use. And they would come in and make a registration. Your zoning officer would have a form where they would actually register this non-conforming use.
Those were for the ones that were in existence at the time of adoption.
That's right, and I'm asking you to consider that as the situation now. That's in existence.
It seems like it'd be a stretch, but I don't.
No, I'd consider it as one supervisor.
But it would be a stretch of the ordinance because they're creating it. I don't, the
Not a
solicitor,
stretch because it is in existence at the time of the change.
And so I'm just trying to make this fit within the ordinance that we have. I don't think you are opposed.
Currently, the
This
residence
is our
in that
zoning officer.
property is a non-conforming property. It doesn't meet setbacks. It is a single residence in an R2 zone. It's been that way since the original zoning. All you're doing would be changing it to a C1. It's still a non-conforming structure.
well, the structure is conforming, the use of the structure is conforming now, is that correct?
No.
The use of the
The
structure
use of the
is.
structure, all that you're doing is changing the zoning to it. She's not converting it to a pizza parlor.
I don't think you heard what I asked. What is the use of the structure now?
The use now is as a residence.
Is that a legal use?
Yes.
So the use of the structure is conforming in R2. The use of the structure.
The use
is
of the
conforming.
structure,
All right.
the building itself is not conforming.
Now we're changing, the use of the structure is going to be made non-conforming as soon as we adopt this.
You're not hearing what I'm saying.
No, you're not hearing what I'm saying because it's clear. You're using it now, it's conforming, because it's in R2. As soon as we adopt this, and our solicitor and their attorney said the same, as soon as we adopt it, it becomes a non-conforming use.
Existing non-conforming use.
Only existing because it was
Because it was
conforming
adopted.
then. It was existing at the time, yeah.
Existing.
But we're
is existing.
changing it. When you changed it, well, I'm trying to help you. I don't know how to do that. If, I'm afraid, well,
Solicitor
Okay,
has
pay
offered the
$500,
advice.
Come back in a month and I'll apply for a stay there for a week or two, or however long she's there.
I'm sorry, what was it again? Come back?
The $500 fee.
Yeah, you'd have to apply for a zoning variance. So you would go before the zoning hearing board and have a whole hearing.
Yeah, but
Before-
still approve it tonight, and then we'll do that.
But as soon as it's approved, it's non-conforming, so you'd have to schedule that hearing tonight, so you're not
She'd
in.
have to go through the
Yep.
process.
Can I ask a question on
Yeah.
that? If you change the zoning to commercial, right? Does that residence then become a commercial zone?
The use as a residence is not permitted in a commercial district.
Okay, so if she decides to become an insurance salesman, that would be a commercial business.
But she couldn't live there. That's the problem.
How about the upstairs, downstairs thing? Does that apply?
I think we're getting a little bit of
Yeah,
far.
yeah, okay, that's,
The uses in the commercial district speak for themselves. There is a residential use allowed that's accessory to a business
There you go.
in the commercial district. There
In
are
the same building.
the residential use, I don't know if it says the
It's in
same
the
building,
same
but there's a
building.
residential use accessory to it. The only time
In
a
the
residential
same
use.
building.
Secondly,
What if it's the office?
same
whether it's
building.
non-conforming or
That's what I'm
not,
saying. It's the office.
we change the zoning. I think the most important thing is the applicant realizes you're getting a change of the zoning to commercial. You've got to deal with the situation as it exists. It's been requested. The board's decision is whether they want to rezone this property from high-density residential to commercial. The implications of that to the landowner are going to have to be explained by the landowner's attorney to them. They've made that request, and that's your decision. Not to see whether they're going to be illegal or not. They know what the requirements are. If they want to change it to commercial, it has to be used commercial.
Effective when?
The effective date of this ordinance would be this evening when you adopt it. Well, I think it's 3
She becomes
days.
illegal tomorrow.
Right.
No, it doesn't.
Well, then they're going to have to deal with it as they get.
wait, you're asking.
Here's your zoning ordinance.
Go
Here's your
ahead.
zoning ordinance.
Go ahead, go
Yeah,
ahead.
here's your zoning ordinance. Under section 501, as soon as you rezone this, it becomes a non-conforming use. As a matter of right, she has, under 501C, the ability to continue that non-conforming use. So you don't have to do anything.
Do we have to create a non-conforming
No,
use? No.
because under 501, it specifically says, whatever is in existence with this ordinance or its amendment. So what you're doing tonight is amending this, creating the non-conforming use, thus giving her the vested right under 502 to continue on without having to do anything.
Okay. So, make a motion.
Let's review that.
Okay, let's
The
make a
zoning
motion.
officer has the authority to deal with non-conforming uses.
You just told us we did.
The zoning officer has that right, the zoning hearing board has that right, either one.
Okay, can I get a motion here to adopt this zoning map change?
I make a motion to adopt the zoning change from R2 to C1.
And that's ordinance number, whatever it is,
2014-1.
I'll second the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, Liberty,
Okay, need to sign that, please.
I suggest you talk with him as soon as possible, zoning officer.
Okay, we didn't hear anything, would you approve it?
Yeah,
Yes.
Thank you.
It's approved, and
yeah.
to-
Gotta go through the Okay, now we got Liberty Travel Plaza, LD plan.
I'm Bruce Kirkpatrick with Hawbaker Engineering here tonight to represent the applicant, Liberty Travel Plaza. You want me to go through the whole project? Would you rather me just start with the comments?
However you'd like to handle it.
Basically, the project, as we've just learned, consists of three parcels. Truck Stop 39 owns this piece, Liberty Travel Plaza owns this piece, and the four entities, or the four individuals own this piece, Wetzel et al. And others. This piece has now been zoned commercial, so this is all zoned commercial. These two pieces, by this plan, are proposed to be joined together. So these will become one parcel as a lot consolidation plan. And what the applicant's proposing to do, there's an existing structure here. That structure will be raised. There's an existing structure over here that will be raised as well. That will be combined, or this building will be constructed that will house the Burger King, the truck stop facility. Gas pumps here, diesel pumps here. Traffic flow in will be through this way. Cars through the drive-through. There's stacking distance here provided for those. The trucks will exit or will continue to the rear where they'll fuel, come over here, and then they will be able to park and come into the convenience store should they choose to. Traffic or pedestrian or passenger vehicles will be in this area, so if somebody comes in, if they're not going through the drive-through, will come across, park here, and then exit out this way. We are proposing to enhance the existing drive in the back. The engineer's comment required it to be 24-foot wide, and we're proposing to do that. For our stormwater management facilities, we're proposing a basin here in the back and piping to channel the water that's coming down off of the township road will go through the site and exit into existing storm sewer out here in front. That's pretty much all I have as far as the overall layout. I can go through the comments, and would you prefer I go through them in their entirety from the planning commission and from your engineer, or just the ones that are left?
Unaddressed or addressed?
What do you have, Jerry?
What do you have? Do you,
Well, I think he got.
he's already got everything
got his-
covered pretty much?
The same comments I sent to Pat,
Okay,
Secretary, and Frank, and you. I sent you all the same one.
yep.
So I can go
So-
through the ones that were unresolved as far as, I think it was 328 last Friday.
Okay,
How about if we have Jerry ask you present to us which ones he had questions on, and you can answer
That's fine.
those.
That's fine.
Well, I'll start with the Perry County comments. I'll get to the right sheet. First, there's two waivers that have to be requested. And one of them is for the submission of a preliminary plan, which you requested.
Correct.
And a waiver for the plan size. So those will be two waivers that need to be requested.
We have
Okay.
those.
And they have the request here.
Yes.
I have a question on the preliminary, Jerry. Don't we generally, with the commercial development, require a preliminary plan? I mean,
Yeah,
they're raising,
but that doesn't have to be. They
They're
can still
raising-
get a waiver.
they're raising the building that's there and doing a whole new plan. When they were doing the addition to the existing building,
Yeah.
they did a preliminary plan. And now they're changing that plan and raising that building, and why don't we, I'm asking, why don't we require a preliminary now if they're tearing the whole place down?
It's going to be the same plan. You just want them to resubmit it the second time with the title change.
right.
I'm just asking why. so
I'm
we
just
can-
saying, I
so
said
we can
that-
justify it, that's all.
Well,
Yeah.
another township I went in, they put them through every plan, no matter how big it was, on a land development with the preliminary final.
All right.
The next one that the planning commission had that was not answered was the number of parking spots required in the zoning officer is to report on the number of spaces if it's correct. That is provided on here.
The number of spaces is correct according to section 421.8, paragraph 15. It says 1 per 4 seats and 1 per each 2 full-time employees on shift. And it's noted on sheet 1 on the left-hand side of the submitted drawings.
Are those maximum or minimum required numbers correct on there?
Yes.
That is correct, and he's well above those.
Yeah.
The next two Perry County comments that were remaining was having the surveyor of the property to certify the accuracy, which will be done at the final approval, is what we've been told. And the landowner certifying title of the property, signing, basically it's signing, sealing, and notarizing plans for approval. The next one is dealing with erosion and sedimentation control plan. We have a control plan, we have a narrative. As of today, it seems like the only thing that's remaining is that they need to have some matting on the detention pond area. We're steeper there, they need to put matting here.
And we're willing to do that, we just haven't shown it on.
No, you gotta do that.
We will add that.
And the other thing is we send it to our Perry County Planning or Conservation District to get them to say yay or nay on it. Is the resident building going to go away now? That's, if it is, they don't need a planning module. If it's going to stay anyway, any type of building stay there, no matter whether it's commercial or residential, then it would have to do a planning module.
I guess that's up to them what,
Tear it down, isn't it?
He said they'll tear it down, so we can.
Wait a
Go
minute,
ahead.
it's there now, and she just said she's gonna live in it, so is it gonna be used or isn't it?
Up to 6 months.
It's there now, so you need to have planning module for planning now, if you're gonna use it for residential.
No, we don't, because it has existing sewer. We're not proposing to change that.
Where's the existing sewer? It's not even shown.
It's an existing sand mound, or
Is it-
not
is
sand
it
mound,
there?
septic system. If you can go find it, I'll gladly add it to the plan.
Yeah, we might be digging into it. The thing about it is we may be digging into it.
Yeah,
It has to be on.
So,
if you're working down in there, we need to know where that sewage system is, because you may just dig it up.
we will do that until,
They won't hit it. It's over to the left.
I can attest to that, it is over to the left. Way out of the-
Start construction until
No.
when?
I don't know exactly when that will be. It would probably be within a month or so, but we can start construction on parts of this without impacting that and not.
So put a condition on the plan that you're not gonna disturb that house or that area around there until such time as it's vacated.
yeah.
How about
That's-
this?
that's-
Can you, somebody apparently knew roughly where it was.
Yeah.
Is that right? Can you show us where the
We can-
sewage system is
we can
on
add
there?
it on.
You know where
We
it is,
can add
George.
on the plan. We had no way when we were down there.
Behind your sewer treatment plant.
Which is in an undisturbed or undeveloped area. I mean, it's just gonna be a grass area anyway.
And add a note that you won't disturb it, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
Not that it matters, but do you want to leave the option not to tear it down if, or,
I
you know,
think it simplifies things. If
Okay. whatever?
the developer's willing to do it, I think it simplifies things to get rid of it.
And
What about the sewage module? Even if the lot addition with the land development?
they can do that with one of those waiver requests.
So we still need some kind of sewage
Just do
planning.
a simple
We can do a
waiver.
waiver, we'll do a waiver.
So that is another item we need, sewage planning.
Frank,
Yeah,
you are aware they do have a sewer treatment plant right beside it.
yeah, well, we asked him if they're gonna hook into it, and he said probably not.
Well, that's true, but
But that, well, I guess sewage planning would cover that, if it's an option.
And to hook into that, this existing sewage treatment plant, we would have to do a module.
That would take the full block.
Yeah.
Is there, I guess, at that point, when we're talking about the sewage and the building use, is there a way in this plan that we can ensure that once they move out, the building is no longer used for residents? And that
Yeah.
might even help them get
We can note that on the plan.
once the building is abandoned by the
Vacated.
current owner.
Right.
Then it'll be tore down.
So the building's being tore down eventually. Is that what
Probably
we're
sooner
hearing?
rather than later, yes.
So the note will say something like, once the building on lot, whatever it is vacated by the current occupant, it will be no longer used as a residence.
Correct.
And does that note also say that it's going to be removed then?
Yeah, why do
You
you
leaving
need
the
a note to say it's no longer gonna be used as a residence?
Should be
It's
say
not gonna be
demolished.
there. Just say it's gonna be removed.
What if he doesn't remove it? He can use it for storage. They just can't be
If you're
used.
gonna tell me he can't live in it, tell me he can't leave it. Tell him it has to be removed.
There's a note on the plan that says it will be removed. You could enforce that note on the plan.
It doesn't say that house will be removed, does it?
We can add that note. It's not there now, but we can add
Is that what, that's, you're gonna add that note that it will be removed?
That's what he's been saying for the last 10 minutes.
So once the building is vacated by current occupant, it will be removed. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. But we'll still do that waiver request.
Yes.
I think our planning commission, every comment they had remaining was to talk about whether that house could be used as a residence, and I think we beat that one to death. Now we're to my comments. My original comment said the approval of the zoning map change occurs prior to the plan approval, which that has been done. My second item is dealing with the easements on the adjoining property. That's truck stop 39. We have to get easements recorded with the plan that allows you to use that property for the accesses, the water, and I think the stormwater as well. And Linus will have to approve them, to get him the easements.
There was a draft easement prepared. I don't know, was.
I have not seen it.
Okay.
You could email it to me. I will review it.
And I think that will probably be amended somewhat based on the outcome of tonight's meeting, is exactly what all occurs there.
Do you recall, was it for the whole piece, an easement over the whole piece, or was it just segments, or what?
The easement, as I recall it, the draft, and it can be amended, you know, it's not firmly established yet, Linus has to do his review, but as I recall, it was a blanket easement over the entire property from Old Trail Road
Down to the highway.
this way, because there is a piece of the property that continues on the other side of Old Trail. We're not proposing to do any development on that at all.
So it'd be from Old Trail to
Yeah.
an easement over the entire section between Old Trail and 150.
Correct.
And that needs recorded?
Yeah. I'm speaking for Linus.
Yeah, it should be recorded, yes. Should be reviewed by myself and your engineer.
My next one is the plan must be signed, sealed, and notarized. The next additional comments that I had on 32814 was pedestrian access to parking lot should be marked and for curb depressed.
We've added that here.
On the plan that's up here, they have it now. This is a plan, what is it, 4-1?
Yes.
Dated 4-1. They've already
We haven't
changed
submitted
some of
this
it.
yet, but we have made revisions to his comments.
The trash receptacle areas, show the concrete pad and label. Label existing structures and sign up, and signs to be removed.
Labeled and noted to be removed.
Okay. The existing depressed curb at the exit from lot number 3R should be replaced with vertical curb for vehicular safety.
We've added that note and shown it on the plan.
There was an area right beside that entrance that they still showed as depressed curb, and I wanted that to be vertical. The exit onto 11 and 15 from lot 1R should be shown as a one-way exit and signed.
So we've added an exit only sign for traffic going this way and a do not enter sign for traffic trying to come in.
Okay.
In an arrow.
Pavement markings from Old Trail to the restaurant should be shown to control vehicles.
we've added those here.
Handicap parking spaces to be signed.
The detail. We've added this detail that shows the signs and the location of the signs.
Okay.
Where they need to be.
For traffic flow, the driveway between the parking lots and the 11 and 15 side shall be 24 feet and two-way.
We've done that. And put the two-way arrows.
And then I had a question, why is there a reverse curve at the curb at the 11 and 15 exit for lot?
And we've removed that. It was a holdover from the previous plan that we've removed.
And my last comment was about the impervious increase in stormwater calculations. And we did receive the stormwater calculations, and I have reviewed them, and they're okay. One comment with the building getting raised, the existing structure being raised, the residential, and the garage is going to come down too?
Yeah, we'll get rid of all that.
I would put the note that the right-of-way is going to be, you might as well just put the right-of-way out to the 30-foot then.
Yes.
The dedicated right-of-way.
Dedicated right away for.
Whole trail.
Increase it.
And I think that was all of that.
Jerry, one item I was thinking about, if this is going to be an add-on of this lot that's been rezoned, we would want a deed of consolidation.
Okay.
I think creating a deed adding, a deed of consolidation be recorded.
Isn't there a note on here similar to that, Jerry?
Maybe it
It
is.
says it's going to be consolidated. I don't know that we say that we're actually going to. I think we just note lots 3 and 4 will be consolidated, but we'll put a note that says the deed of consolidation.
Will be prepared and recorded.
Yep.
And at this time, that, of course, that lot is not owned by the,
That is correct.
so I would assume that's going to take place.
Yeah, and that's why there's 3 certifications on here. So it'll be Truck Stop 39, Liberty Plaza, and then the owners of that lot. They'll sign off on it. So, yeah, I don't know when you're going to transfer, do the actual transfer.
Did I, for the previous plans, they had a letter from PP&L saying that it was okay with them to do what they were doing?
Okay.
Do they have anything similar to that for what they're proposing now?
We have not,
You know, putting parking area under there now and curbing.
Right. In reviewing the deed from PP&L, I didn't find anything in that deed, and you can speak to that if you'd like, that would preclude them from putting this in. It refers to structures and things like that, but it doesn't specifically refer to parking lots or
vegetation, trees.
other things, so.
I guess that's a question for our solicitor. Would we be wise to have them check with PP&L and just get an approval letter?
Well, you could, I mean, you could, but I mean, if the, I haven't seen the PP&L easement, I mean,
There's existing parking there now.
There is.
Yeah.
There's existing parking there now.
There's-
So
You're adding curbing,
we are adding some.
you're adding curbing and doing development under the right
But
of way.
not in any way impeding PP&L's ability to repair and replace and do what they've got to do for their lines.
I agree with you, but my
Yeah.
question is, will PP&L agree with you? I don't know, that's all I'm saying.
No, so what I'm just trying to establish is that parcel has been used that way for years and years and years, and I'm suggesting we're not changing it.
Well, I agree with you, but I wonder if PP&L will, that's all
I
I'm saying.
understand. I understand.
I think that, didn't PP&L have some comments before Jerry when we first started this project?
I don't remember
Not that I
any.
know of.
Well, if you can check on that, try to, I think it'd be a good idea to get a PP&L letter. I don't assume there'll be no problem. But if there is, I'd like to be aware of it before.
Sure.
We get any problems down the road.
The good thing there on that PP&L easement, like I went through it before, and we blacked off the driveway through an easement. Well, PP&L said, if our truck's gotta come through here, we're not liable for
For
your
anything,
driveway
right.
on that.
That's all right away, yeah, you're there.
I mean, no matter what they do
If
underneath
they
it,
tear it up
they
or
can't
anything,
come back
that's
and
your
sue the
problem.
township or the,
Yeah,
that's all.
yeah, we have to do that.
Did the zoning officer review this also?
Yes.
You've seen it, and you didn't see any problem? What about a buffer planting between the
That's
commercial?
covered.
We have it shown, the buffer yard shown on the plan.
10-foot of buffer
To the side.
to the side of the resident property that's adjacent to the property we're converting from R2 to C1.
What about along the road?
It's not required along the road. The road is the buffer zone.
Get to the sides.
The screen planting isn't required between the commercial and the residential areas?
Only when they're adjacent.
Now that you're tearing down this old building, I assume you're gonna have some new sewer lines to put in, but I don't see any on the plan.
Yeah, unfortunately, the plans that came through last week, there was a layer in the computer that was turned off, and we didn't catch that before they went out,
So we
but they
can-
are on this plan.
That'd be addition then.
You can show the sewer line?
Yep,
Yeah.
They're on this plan
Yes.
that they have up here.
and we'll take this one off coming from the house now that we're gonna tear that too.
Anything
Okay.
else?
Anything else, anybody?
The 24-foot drive that you're gonna put in, I assume that's to be for like a back access?
Here,
Yeah, it's on that back road.
that was done, my understanding, at the request of the township.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it was.
You know, my recommendation is that that really shouldn't be there, but if the
The
township
problem
wants it
I
to-
saw with it is, it's, basically it's a street because it's being used for access.
Then you.
It was, the reason for that was a way for people to come off of Old Trail Road from the township rather than having to go out on 1115. That was the original idea behind that.
I remember that discussion. But once it's treated like a street,
It's
it
part of
needs
a
to
street.
meet some of the streets, so we may need some approvals for the grades. The maximum street grade, I think, is,
I think if we go to that, you're gonna lose it. There's no way we're gonna get street grades there.
but I said it
Yeah.
needs some approvals. We can give variances if it's in, if we
What
think
do
it's
you say,
in the
Jerry?
best interest.
What do you say, Jerry, on that? Anything?
I mean, it's not a street.
But it's a driveway you're creating. and
It's
gonna
an
be-
existing driveway, we're leaving that.
They're
at the
widening
request
the
of the
existing
township.
driveway at the township's request.
Yes.
My question is, if we allow him to build that driveway and use it for access, or is the township incurring any liability by allowing it to be over the slopes permitted? Or can we give if it is over the slope, can we give a variance to allow that access? It's like
It's
a
over the slope
20%,
now.
it's like nearly a 20% slope in areas, and I think our ordinances are, on minor streets is around 10%.
8 or 10.
Yeah, 8 or 10%.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
we've given
8 or 10
we've given
is
variances
Around
before,
townships.
but when we give a variance, we basically sign off our liability.
Well, this is already there, am I correct?
It is.
Yeah.
But they're gonna improve on it. They're
Well,
gonna
They're
widen it.
widening
at the township's engineer's request, we originally submitted the plan with it shown as
They're
is.
not changing the slope.
They're not changing that existing slope.
They're widening it from like a 12-foot surface, 12-foot surface to a 24-foot surface, and then it's gonna be, traffic flow is gonna be directed
2 ways.
through there. It sounds like a street to me, but
We'll gladly take it off the plan. I mean,
Then everybody's gonna have to go around on 1115 instead of being able to go through that way. And again, that was a request of the people at the planning commission, Frank.
I
So-
understand that, but I also understand that we may be incurring some liability.
If it's a private road, private lot, is it any liability to the township?
I wouldn't think so, but if it's a concern, you can grant a waiver. I mean,
So it would be a, waiver.
My only comment is, and I agree with what you said, except that now are we changing the game a little by this very action here, by the township asking that it be widened and that it be kept open. You know, I agree it's not a street or it's private property at this point, but now there may be official action about all this. And my concern is that this ripens into something else as a result of all of this. So,
Well, who requested it was the planning commission. So
Well, it was one of my
Yeah, it
comments.
was, I didn't want to stick it on Jerry, but.
Because I always like to see back accesses for the local people. I hate to see them have to go out on 11 and 15 to get to that site.
Right.
I agree.
I agree.
But I said, but that was the reason for the comment.
Yep, and everybody agreed at the planning commission that day, so.
Frank, are you aware of the township maintained that road, that little strip there for about 15 years now?
We don't now. It's a concern for 20% slope is a pretty good grade. And then you're gonna be coming into truck traffic. If you think about it, that's right where he wants the truck traffic coming through.
Yeah, so, well,
It's a lot of slope and it's a lot trying to stop if you have some even water on a 20% slope that's paved. It's a concern to me. I understand, I'd love to be able to go in that way too. But if I'm gonna be driving in the middle of a truck path, I don't know if I wanna do it, and I don't know if I wanna leave it
If it creates a
open.
problem, have it done. If it creates a problem, you issue it then and closing it.
Well, the other thought is, how about like speed bumps or something that you're actually making people slow way, way down, if there's a concern.
On a hill.
yeah.
Also, you have to think about the people going out the highway, you have a greater chance for accidents, people coming in the
Yeah.
center lane and turning in there than you coming down off
Yep.
the slope.
Well, I agree, yeah.
I mean, I'm for leaving it there, because I think it's a lot more beneficial to the people in the township.
Absolutely. I mean, if he wants to go out on the highway there, I mean, a lot more traffic, more time. Big thing.
Would it be possible for you to just request a variance for the slope of that drive and
Add that to your waiver request.
and in the request, say we'll relieve liability somehow on the township, something along that, drive is to remain private and will not be.
I don't know that we'll release the liability, but we'll request a waiver.
Waiver and, what was that last thing you said? Not the
No
liability,
liability on the
but
township.
Waiver.
No liability.
you were adding something into the end of what you were talking about.
Yeah, you had to put a waiver on the slope, right?
It won't be the responsibility of the
Yeah,
township.
Right.
It will remain private,
private property.
so on. Now, you guys showed that easement there for the truck, I think it's 60 feet.
Yes.
Stop your hand about where the writing is.
Here.
Show a couple poles there?
Say that again?
You show a couple poles there?
They're light poles, aren't they?
Yeah, they'll be removed. They come down and service that existing structure. That'll be removed when that structure's
The
removed.
utility poles are to be removed?
We can add that.
Yeah, light poles.
No, they're not. There's a couple electric poles that service, that come down there and service.
It's a service
Yeah,
line.
service over that building.
It comes off of here.
Where that building goes over probably too.
For that structure.
Right.
So can we label those to be removed?
Yep.
And then Jerry, you brought up about the truck traffic and truck parking in there. Did you have a comment on the, we had a little discussion on truck parking with trying to, there's an exit there for the trucks, which is that 60-foot strip.
Yeah.
Street coming down the hill is gonna be crossing it, there's no traffic patterns, there's no places for trucks to park.
They can show That's like where they park now. They park everywhere over there, or they did. But I guess we could say to give them a lane and which way to go
We
out.
could add some truck parking spaces here so that the trucks could come around, park, and exit.
Well, how about traffic patterns in that 60-foot easement to direct those trucks when they are headed that way anyway, they stay in the traffic pattern?
You could do line striping and that sort of thing is what you're,
That makes sense to me.
You could give truck parking up there in that 60-foot easement.
okay.
And have them, you could probably park a couple trucks side by side then.
Yep. All right.
And then have a lane for them to go out. You should probably have a little more than 16, probably about 20 foot wide for them to drive on.
Is that to be one way, that traffic truck
This
exit?
flow? Yes.
Yeah.
That's one way.
You don't want them to come back the
Yeah,
other way.
this is exit only. This is entrance only, and this is exit only for the pedestrians.
That first one you looked at is posted that way? Or will be posted that way?
It will be, yes. We have exit only and do not enter signs on here.
They have signs,
So-
signs that are out there.
So we can put some truck parking spaces and a traffic pattern,
Yep.
flow lines,
Yep.
or painted lines or whatever.
Yes.
And make sure they don't park at the vehicle.
Yeah.
Right.
Is that it, Jerry? You got everything?
Anything else? Anything you wanna add?
No,
I had one request of the board on the PPL issue where we were suggesting that we request a letter from PP&L. We thought that could be difficult getting something from them. We would like to notify them if that would be agreeable to the board, a letter of notification to PPL as to what we intend to do here.
Yeah, if there's a problem, they'll get back to you.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So
I'm
as
just afraid if you require us to get a letter from them, it
Right.
may be very
Yeah.
difficult to get.
So you'll notify them of it.
Yes, yeah.
In that letter, since we're not gonna wait for a response, I guess is what you're saying, in that letter, can you request that you also respond to Watts Township and give them our
Sure.
address?
Yep.
Sure.
Anything else?
No.
No? Jerry?
I have nothing.
No?
So what, we need to submit it to the county, ENS, or County Soil Conservation for their review of that?
We want them to, we want them to review it, yes.
And then the sewage planning component has to go out.
And it's,
Well, we have till what? Our June meeting.
June
June meeting.
meeting.
I think we might be wiser to, you have our list, postpone approval until you get the county's approval on the ENS and the sewage module signed and all that stuff, and then make these other revisions that we talked about. And I personally think it would be good to show it to the planning commission. They'd have the full list then, and Jerry would. And then you should be able to bring it to us at the June meeting and get final approval without a problem. But there are some things on here that are gonna take some time, like the ENS should get an answer. We should have an answer from them before we go forward with even a conditional approval.
If the supervisors would consider, we'd ask for conditional approval and compliance with any conditions imposed by, for instance, Conservation District or other review agencies. So we would, as a condition, submit and comply with any requirements or suggestions or recommendations by the reviewing agency.
If you have our list, and it's gotta go to ENS, and we still have another month, so.
But they have to get in, they have to move forward, Frank. It's a business model, a business decision.
Well-
And you put something off for a whole month.
It's quite a list.
Well,
I mean,
I don't think
10
it's,
things, I don't-
is it anything
I don't
that's
remember.
insurmountable?
not insurmountable, but we need to look at it.
And they're gonna comply with everything. So I make a motion that we give them conditional approval as long as they're going to fulfill the list.
Get a second.
I'll second
Give a
it.
second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Do you have the list?
You have the, you have a list of them down, right?
I'll have it on my recorder,
Right, you should have it.
You should,
list the conditions.
you've listed and you've gone through the conditions, but you should act separately on these waiver requests.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, they've made some waiver requests.
You want to name the waiver request and we'll make,
You want to read them since you have?
Yes, I will. They are requesting a waiver from Saldo Sections 304/305 and Saldo Sections 306/307. The applicant requests a waiver to allow for the plans to be considered for simultaneous preliminary final approval. The second waiver, the Saldo Section 307.1, the applicant requests a waiver from the requirement that the plans be submitted on 22-inch by 17-inch plan size. The applicant's plans are 24-inch by 36-inch. Confirmation has been obtained from the Perry County Recorder's Office that the proposed size plan can be recorded.
And I think that you might add that third waiver request relates to the slope of that driveway, the existing driveway. You can either consider those individually, or you consider them as a group, whatever you want to do.
does it matter? I mean, one way or the other, because one fell swoop, we could,
And we get a motion
Make a
to
motion.
accept the waivers as requested.
I make a motion to accept the waivers as requested.
Second?
I'll second it. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Okay.
Did everybody vote?
Yes.
I didn't hear
Well,
Frank.
Frank.
Eli,
Since we kind of voted for the approval before we voted
Oh.
for the waiver, do we need
Oh.
to make sure that that was included, or are we okay with that?
I don't think there was a full vote on the approval of the plan. There were
Okay.
2 people voted.
2 people voted. All right,
Now that you've done the waivers, I would remake your motion.
remake a motion that we accept the plan, conditional approval of the plan. And then you have to
Is that the
re-second that.
conditions that you just went through with the engineer and that are,
whatever.
In the waiver.
the waivers have been granted?
Second,
I'll
yes.
second
Second
again.
that.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Okay, everyone's all.
Frank.
Yeah.
Did Frank say aye?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No. Perhaps we better be clear and explain the process, or our thoughts, what our thought process is for a preliminary plan, or a conditional approved plan. What's the next step, Linus?
Well, the conditions, we have to give them written notification of this approval of the waivers and the approval of the preliminary/final with the various conditions. And they should acknowledge the conditions, acceptance of the conditions, which I believe they have. As we've gone through here, they accept the conditions.
Correct. That's correct.
And so we should get their concurrence of these conditions.
Yeah, and if you want to put in, for instance, in the approval letter or in the decision you write, that if there's any quarrel or any disagreement on the exceptions, we must notify the township within a certain number of days. There won't be, but I'm just saying.
Well, normally it's a 15-day time period.
Right, that'll be fine.
All right, so we're to send that letter similar to the one we sent, but it's also saying that if you don't agree to these within 15 days, plan.
Correct. Yeah,
Should we say the plan will be denied, or what?
that's right, it would be deemed denied, yeah.
Because the last one we sent out didn't say it would be denied if you didn't accept the terms, the conditions.
Yeah.
That'll be fine.
Now, when can we expect the plan, or Linus, when should we expect the conditional plan to come back for final signatures?
Would be when all the conditions
All the
are.
conditions are met.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Satisfied. Yeah.
I mean, is that 6 months?
well, I mean,
Unending?
what's the time frame that you can get all this? 90 days?
Yeah, I would think 90 days is sufficient.
So can we add that to our conditional approval letter, that the plan must be,
I mean,
We can add that and indicate that if they need an extension, they'd have to come in and request it. You can add that conditions to be satisfied within 90 days unless extended by the board.
By both parties, right.
Is that okay with the developer?
I think you can do it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
Is that okay?
Yep, thank you very much.
Okay then.
Now, you also, obviously, are going to have to file any security that may be required for any public improvements. That's a given, which will be determined by the engineer.
And Nancy, you had on here, truck stops 39 plan, you have another plan we have. Right.
That's,
Hi,
Yeah.
my name's Anthony Fascia. I'm here representing Michael Bentley, who is the real driver of this plan. I want to thank the board for bearing with me here. Mr. Bentley and Michael Bentley and Anna Bentley bought a property up behind Nittany Oil, now owned by Truck Stop 39. They owned it for a lot of years, and Hilltop Oil came knocking at the door and said, sorry, half your house is built on my yard. Anna Bentley, God rest her soul, left us and left Michael with a house that sits on half property and not. We've been retained in order to work out a deal with Hilltop, and we've done that. Whereas we are taking a small sliver of their piece of land and adding it on to Mr. Bentley's land. This is a lot add-on. This is not a subdivision, residential, another lot. There's a restriction on the plan. It can't be further subdivided. It's got to go along with the lot. This is just to correct the overlap, okay? You heard this. You approved the plan on March 5th. And however, though, on March 12th, we got a letter adding, and it was at the hearing, section 4109E, additional dedicated right-of-way along Old Trail Road. We got that. We immediately sent you a letter that said, hey, we're fine with everything. We've already fixed items 1A, 2, 3A, B, and C from the letter. They're fixed. They're ready to go. We just objected to item 1B. And there's a reason for it. This is a lot add-on. We already don't front a public road. We have our own access. If you actually look at your ordinance and 401E, it says when a subdivision or land development is proposed running on an existing street, guess what? Our subdivision does not front on a public street, and you granted a waiver to that. So for you now to go back in and take something from your zoning ordinance and say, you got to give us the right-of-way, doesn't make sense. That's the one issue. By your own ordinance, you could remove that one condition. And that's what we're asking you to do tonight, is to remove that one condition. We've complied. Bruce, you've taken care of the plan. We can comply with everything else on your March 12th letter except for that dedicated right-of-way. Also, if you don't do that, it's going to be a deemed denial, and Mr. Bentley may or may not have to appeal that decision. And, I hate to throw out lawyerly stuff, but I am one. Nobody throw rocks, please. There is case law out there in this Commonwealth that specifically says The MPC, the Municipalities Planning Code, does not give the board authority to condition approval of subdivision plan on landowners' agreement to designate right-of-way or an easement. It's Mixel versus Ross, 623, A second 429. By you doing this, you're violating the MPC. But I don't want to go there. I'm just pleading with you that since your own ordinance says, when the subdivision or land development is proposed fronting an existing street, that section doesn't apply to this plan. And I humbly request that you remove from your March 12th letter, item number 1B. And we will accept every other condition that's on that approval letter.
You're saying, Gus, that you sent us a letter saying that we suddenly came up with this?
No. I'm not saying you suddenly came up with it. I just sent you a letter that said, hey, we're willing to comply with everything, but please don't enforce 1B.
When you first started talking, though, you said we had these conditions, then we got a letter that said we needed additional right-of-way.
No. I apologize. What I said is, at the hearing, you probably imposed that condition, then we got your approval letter. And your approval letter pointed that out, item 1B. We immediately sent you a letter that says, we're okay with all of the conditions except 1B.
Where did we get that letter?
No, I think the letter you sent, the letter that was sent, and asked for a delay. Asked for a postponement until after the determination of the request for rezoning of the Wetzel property.
So, but what we're requesting is waive 1B for us.
Well, our time expired, right, Linus? To act on this plan.
Well, no, we acted on the plan.
Right.
You acted on the plan within the time frame, and so that's fine.
Okay.
They've now come back, and before the 15 days were up, they asked for a delay or an extension to accept or reject. And so it's now before you tonight.
Right.
But you properly acted within the time frame.
You properly acted. You've
But
done your...
we can't grant an extension, what can we do?
We're not asking for an extension.
Please let me talk to our solicitor. What can we do?
I
mean,
think that
Linus,
you can address this request this evening on the condition.
even though time's up, even though time expired.
The time that did not expire before you acted on the plan. There wasn't a, sometimes there's a sentence put in here that the failure to accept these conditions is an automatic denial. We didn't put that in there. I do think that since they did request an extension of the decision to accept the conditions before the 15 days were up, gives the board the authority to act on this request if they so desire. They can, the board can do that because you have previously acted within the 90 days. That would be my opinion. Tonight you can act on the request, I guess, for the modification of this one condition. They're saying they will accept all other conditions on that March 12th letter.
The letter, there's 9 copies there of the requests for waivers as stipulated. And we revised the plan, add the additional information as requested. Conditional approval.
So the motion that would have to be made,
Is to amend the March 12th approval letter to delete item 1B.
Conditional approval.
The conditional approval letter of March 12th to delete item 1B. I do believe you have the authority to act on that.
And it's just so you're fully aware, the plans for the property that was just approved does dedicate the entire 30-foot right-of-way.
Yeah.
So you're still getting the right-of-way, it's just not part of this plan, it's part of the next
yep,
one.
yeah, I remember.
So we can revise this and then, you can bring us the revised plans. Linus, tell us how to write this. So we agree to revise the conditional approval letter dated March 11th to remove 1B and send a letter requesting conditions acceptance?
Well, they've acknowledged here in front of you that they're ready to sign, they're willing to sign if that's removed.
Yeah, I think that all you have to do is
Remove.
redate this letter April, what's tomorrow, the 3rd?
Yeah.
April 3rd, remove 1B,
1B.
and then once we sign it, we then agree to all your other conditions.
I think Linus might agree that we're better to write a letter saying we're amending our
Right, you would send
previous
this,
approval.
right, you would just send this and call it Truck Stop 39, amended letter, and the Board of Supervisors, that they're March 5th, dated December 17th, following conditions, as amended April.
Let me ask you, if the board makes this motion tonight and strikes 1B.
I'll sign it right
Will
now.
it be signed by you this evening?
Yes.
Corrects everything.
Okay, I make a motion that we remove 1B on this
From our March 11th.
Of your March 12th, 2014 letter. And is there a second?
I'll second it. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Would you just initial that?
You want to get him signature before he runs?
Can we get the lawyer to sign it?
Yeah, can we get you to sign? Or whoever.
The letter's
who's
made
gonna
to me
sign
and I'm the representative.
We're okay with Mr. Kirkpatrick.
Okay.
And I'm the applicant.
Okay.
He accepted if you are the applicant.
I am the representative of the
He's
applicant
got our lawyer saying it's okay.
as on the application that was originally filed.
You accepted the conditions last month.
I did not accept the conditions last month.
Oh, I thought you did.
No, he really didn't want to, I recall.
Okay, now we'll move on to Bluestone plan.
Are we done with Mr. Kirkpatrick then?
Actually, I have enough plans to submit these revised plans so that you can review them. On acceptance, we will sign, date, notarize.
Is there anything that needs to be signed tonight before you
No.
leave?
Nope.
Nothing?
Nope, you just, I imagine you'll probably want to look over them, make sure we've satisfied all the comments. And then just, once you tell me the comments are all satisfied, we'll take care of getting all the signatures.
Okay. Very good.
I'm on my phone.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay.
Darren?
Darren, yeah, I'm Darren Foster. I'm representing the Bluestone subdivision plan. The plan was submitted, I attended the December Planning Commission meeting on December 11th, and they recommended approval with 3 conditions. Getting the module signed, which I dropped that off to the township, and that, actually we already got DEP approval. The second condition was DEP approval, and then adding an address to the plan, which we did, and they waived the preliminary plan procedures. And then I came to the January meeting, hoping for conditional approval, and the one member said he did not have time to look at the plan, so he wanted to table it, and that was where it was left. And I was under the impression, at that supervisors meeting, I requested a waiver, or an extension. And I normally do 90 days. I don't know why I thought it was a 90-day extension. I knew the original submission expired January 30th, and I figured we had 90 days, which would take us till the end of April. Evidently, at the March meeting, the plan had been denied. And the reason we didn't come to the March meeting, we were still waiting on that DEP approval letter.
Which you got a couple days later.
Actually, we received it like
So
2 days
did I.
after the
Yeah.
meeting.
The office got it like 2 days later.
Yes,
Right.
and then we got a letter saying that the township had denied the plan. So,
I know we didn't know what it was. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, it's waiting on the bathroom.
and in speaking with the solicitor, they said that denial could be reversed, but if the supervisors would agree. So what I've done, on behalf of the applicant, we're going to formally request a reversal of the denial, which was set forth by the supervisors at the March meeting. And because all the conditions have been met, just basically.
Read it? You want me to read it?
Go ahead and read it.
Well,
Please,
Linus
please.
should read it.
Oh, let Linus read it then. Big voice.
On behalf of the applicant, Alan and Roberta Bluestone, we hereby request the reversal of the denial as set forth by the Board of Supervisors at their meeting on March 5th, 2014. Are you then requesting approval of the plan in that same?
Yes, yes, all the conditions have been met, and we are requesting approval of the plan.
Now, perhaps, Linus, you can explain to the board what the devil we're doing.
Well, it's obviously it's a little unusual. I mean, normally when the plan is denied, it's denied. You made the motion. I believe you have the legal authority to rescind your denial motion. These are somewhat of unique circumstances, but you don't normally do that on a denial because you don't want to start setting a policy when you deny something that people come back.
Right.
This was somewhat unique in that you just heard, well, I mean, you've just heard from Representative Mr. Hartford's office.
What was unique about it? The time expired.
But we weren't sure what things to
Yeah,
put
well, yeah, I mean,
in the list
you look at each one on the circumstances.
individually.
I'm just telling you as a solicitor, I believe you have the authority. You have the legal authority to reverse your denial. Whether you do or not, that's up to you. You're hearing Mr. Hartford's representative, his explanation of why this occurred, and you have to decide as a board whether you want to reverse your denial, rescind your prior motion, and approve this plan. That is up to you.
What would the legal precedent might be set? Any?
It's not so much as legal precedent. I mean, if you're looking at maybe other people coming in this situation, they might not be the exact same set of circumstances. This is a pretty simple plan. When you looked at the denial, there weren't too many items that were left undone. So you have to look at this specific set of circumstances in making your decision.
And if you, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
But if you recall, I'm sorry, may I?
No, go ahead.
What the problem was, we didn't know, remember when I said, well, can't we give them a pass on this at this point, at least give them a little bit more time? And you said, we don't know, the problem was we didn't know what the conditions were that they hadn't met.
Right.
Turned out to be the planning or the sewer. Sewage.
That was one of them.
And that was one of them.
And do we still have the list?
Yes.
Doesn't the planning commission normally report to
Yep, they
the
do.
supervisors?
But we didn't have the report.
Usually when the plan is submitted, the waivers are submitted with the plan.
Yes.
And then if.
The preliminary, that was submitted with. No, I brought that to the December meeting, the December 11th meeting.
To the planning
The waiver
commission.
for the preliminary plan, they did see that, yes. They should have that in there.
That went to the planning commission meeting?
On December 11th, yeah.
My only concern is, I don't have a problem with getting this through if we can. If we set the precedent, somebody else comes along now, he's trying to say that the precedent is set on an individual basis.
You have to look at the whole set of circumstances.
That's the ENS plans.
I mean, but going down the road, to me anyway, somebody else comes in and says, well, you did it for him, you do it for me, and so on. And
But sometimes you have to look at the individual. I remember I was not for killing the plan.
we didn't know what the conditions were either. That's just it, and we're assuming that the conditions are all met, but we still don't.
Well, you
Let me ask you this, what's the situation
I
of,
do have DEP approval. I have that letter right here,
let
and
me
the
ask-
address is on the plan,
Let me ask you this,
so that they were.
technically, right now, the plan is denied, correct, Linus?
Yes.
Okay.
There we go.
What if we asked you to resubmit the plan but waive the submittal fee? And it would zip through the planning commission next month because everything's done, and it would come to the plant supervisors at our next month's meeting. We don't have to set a precedent of changing our disapprovals, but you submit it, right here's 9 plans, or 9 copies, I think, well, whatever. We waive the resubmittal fee, everything's done. Come June, or May 5th, it's approved, which is about where you were headed.
This entire thing was, I understand, and we'll do whatever the board deems necessary. This is to settle an estate. The Dieter estate, Mrs. Dieter passed away. This portion of property the state is getting, and they're going to put it up for auction, and they're planning on auctioning it, a month ago.
Yeah.
But, and that would just delay the process. I'm just, as a request to the Board of Supervisors, trying to work for the community, you're a representative of
The secretary
people.
even put in our minutes that she called you guys last month.
I was here in January and you refused to look at it. The other two were willing to look at it and you refused to.
She said.
And I had everything, the same thing I have tonight.
And the secretary,
You didn't have a sewage module.
she
And
did.
that could have
That's
been,
what we were waiting on.
that could have
We
been
signed your
conditional
module that
approval.
Once again.
We signed your module. But she called you last month, and we didn't get a response.
But they didn't get the message.
I had not
apparently.
received the
They didn't
DEP
get the
approval.
message.
She did, Nancy talked to the secretary, I talked to the secretary.
Here's my position.
And I don't realize I don't understand why we went to March 15th.
I'll move this
I
along.
don't either.
Because
That was at the
That was at the
recommendation of.
request.
You recommended I made it March
March
15th,
5th.
but the meeting was March 5th, so you're giving me 10 more days to,
Just to make sure, we didn't know what day the meeting was.
but I can't use those 10. I found out on the 6th that you denied it, but,
We can't because we have our public meeting.
well, then why did you tell me to make it March
Because we
15th?
didn't know the meeting date. I said that'll get us past the meeting date. That's all it was. Now, if we set the precedent, you guys want to set the precedent, you set the precedent. I think it's
I don't
simpler
think it's setting
and
the
more
precedent.
protective for the board
Does
to
it,
say,
does it matter,
resubmit the plan,
does
we'll
he have
waive
to
the
rescind
filing
it, or should we
fee,
just make a
and it
motion?
should fly through. You have
Rich.
everything done.
No.
Make a motion to rescind if you want to.
Okay, but he's gonna make that rescinding motion, doesn't he?
It doesn't matter.
Okay, I make a motion that we rescind the motion that was made to deny the plan. And you don't feel it's making a precedence of any kind per se, in reality?
You already said it is making a
I
precedent.
don't say it's a precedent, I'm saying that's what you want to make sure you're not setting a policy, but you look at each one on the individual circumstances. So I think you have the legal authority to do it. It would be, if you so choose, it's up to you. If you choose to do that, it would be a motion to rescind, and I guess it's a motion that we rescind and approve the plan, because all the outstanding conditions have been met. I don't know if you're ready to do that or not.
Well, and because of the date thing, not that when I'm saying it's your fault that you told him the 15th, because that's what he agreed to, but if we looked on the calendar and we would have done it an extra period of time, he wouldn't be in this predicament. And if you would look at the plan when he asked you to. So I make a motion that,
In January, is that?
well, I make a motion that we rescind the motion that we denied the plan. Do I get a
Second.
second?
Okay, I'll second this one. Okay, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Frank?
I'm gonna have to be opposed to that.
Okay.
I don't think it's good.
Okay. Next time, give a longer time for your extension.
Start.
Okay, sorry.
Oh, you need to make a
Sorry.
motion to.
Are you going to act on any approval of the plan?
Okay, I make a motion that we approve, conditional approval or just approval?
Wait a minute, we're out of time. How can we act on it? You rescinded the denial, but we're out of time. Now, please
But
explain how we can act on
Same way as
something
the other
that's out of time.
we already talked with them, with like the other people who were here who left.
We didn't give a conditional approval in this case. My question to the attorney is simple. We've rescinded our denial. It's no longer denied. We're out of time. We ran
It's
out of
deemed
time on the
approved.
15th. How can you act on a plan that we're out of time on? Just explain it and we'll do it.
Well, then I would suggest that the applicant grant an extension to the board through tonight's meeting.
In writing.
and then the board can act on this plan that they have in front of it.
Here, please.
Got a piece of paper? I
Yeah.
don't have a piece
Oh,
of
here,
paper.
yeah, we'll get you something to write on here. Here, grant us an extension, please.
I make a motion to accept his request for an extension.
I second that motion.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All the conditions have been met on this plan now? Is that correct?
Correct.
You have
Make
the
a motion
ENS.
to grant approval
I'm sorry.
Yes.
of the plan as submitted.
Let him finish writing if you wouldn't mind, Frank.
I make a motion, well, we have to accept that motion extension.
And that would include granting a written waiver request for the preliminary plan procedure requirements, what? A waiver of no preliminary plan.
Is that a motion that, okay, it's a minute. All right,
Make a motion to accept the extension.
I make a
Did I already
motion.
make that?
Yeah,
Yes, we
make a
did
motion to
that.
accept,
I
yes.
made that,
Yes.
and then I made a motion to, now I have to make a motion to accept the waiver for, as submitted, the waivers as submitted.
Okay, I second that motion.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
And I make a motion to approve the plan as submitted.
I second that motion.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Okay, we're in business.
You need to sign, Carl.
Okay. Carl, you need to sign that, please.
No, you need to
Next
sign.
time,
I'm sorry,
get your
I'm sorry.
dates. Thank you, I'm
to
serious.
sign the plan.
Next time,
Oh,
get your
we
on
need
your
to sign the
dates.
plan.
I understand what you're saying, and I agree,
Okay.
but
That's okay.
you're asking the board to twist the rules, twist the rules, twist the rules. It ain't right. We did it for you. We did it for you.
Okay, I appreciate it. Actually, in all honesty, you should have abstained from this plan because you were involved with it. You dug the burp holes, so you don't even really have a say in it, actually, but,
Yeah, right.
so.
That's
But
against
my approval or involvement had nothing to do with the plan. Approval of the plan.
You're the reason I'm here, because you wouldn't even look at it in January. So you did have some involvement.
You didn't get revised plans in January. That's the rule.
Go.
I'm waiting
Yeah.
for my signatures.
Just stand quietly.
Yeah.
Long day.
Okay, while he's signing, I'm going to,
Now you're fine again?
Good and welfare, that's where this is gonna all blow up.
I'll be first. She'll be second. We're lined up. We'll make it quickly. The Township Supervisors said they say if the zoning officer says we have to get permits, does the Township Supervisor have the right to override this?
And by the way, can we get this to our zoning things? Nobody did with the
Thank you very much.
But they have no right over the
Zoning officer interprets the zoning ordinance.
Okay,
The
so
zoning officer makes it.
Where's my spot? Is that it? Down here?
Yeah, you right beside.
Right beside it?
So, all the whole way through this, my husband passed away 2 years ago, twice I've gotten.
I'll wait till you talk.
Yeah, but that's why I was wondering.
Oh, a different color.
He said no.
I hate blue, I don't know why I have a blue.
County wants theirs in black.
Then
Picky, aren't they?
Did you notice all the people tonight?
So then you're gonna bring these to the planning commission meeting then to get them to,
No,
get them
the
to sign?
zoning officer. Right.
Unless there's members here tonight.
Driveway ordinance.
That's his job.
Okay, there you go, Darren.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
job today.
Oh, here's your pen.
Well, he can go back there. I said that too. That's what I feel about it.
Okay.
Okay, now we're good in welfare. Anybody got anything to say?
Wait, Pat,
Speak up.
wait, Pat's not here yet. Hold on.
Oh, gosh. And then you're next. I'll put you second, yeah.
Okay, Donna, go ahead.
Okay. My name is Donna Ellenberger. I live in Watts Township for 30-some years. I hope everyone can hear me. You might want to give Jane Casey a big hand because she started all this with the ordinance thing. She called me up and she said I had to pay for a permit to put stone on my driveway, and I had not done that for 30-some years. So I didn't have the What's Happening then, so I hope everyone has a copy of the What's Happening. And she gave me the phone number, and I called for clarification. The zoning officer, we have found out, is Bob Hart.
Can you read what I put in What's Happening?
I didn't read it, she did. That's why we give Jane a big hand for reading the What's Happening. So she started all this. We
Yeah.
So when I called Robert, he did tell us, yes, we do need a permit. And that's why I was asking a question up here. Is the supervisors over the zoning officer, do they interpret the permits in this? Or does the zoning officer does the interpretation of the permits? Well, apparently the zoning officer is the one that does this, interprets the ordinance. So, bottom line, we need clarification, and I still don't want to pay for a permit to put stone on my driveway. And that's why everyone got a copy of this ordinance. We need it clarified. And, let me see, what else here? Linda, we got an email from a supervisor, so Linda's gonna read this email. But, I don't know if we need it or not, or if we need the ordinance redone. I don't know. We're all in the township together, and it's gonna affect every one of us. Linda Heffenfinger's next. She did an awful lot of work.
Gee, thanks, as I get.
Thanks.
Good evening, everyone. It's with a lot of, I don't know what to even call it. It's a disappointment, it's frustrating, it is not the way I would like to see our township run. I don't like to see the way some of the things are done by some supervisors. And I think that the supervisors, foremost and above all, should be here for the township residents.
And they are.
Well, anyway, this is a letter that was sent to Donna Ellenberger, and it also had my husband's and my email address on it. So this was addressed to Donna. It says, Donna, that portion of the driveway ordinance that was designed to require a fee permit for new driveway cementing and blacktopping of brand new driveways was never meant for surface re-gravel maintenance. Last month or the month before, someone in the township complained something was causing water to run off on a, road and then freeze, causing a very dangerous situation. Supervisor Frank Powell said he thought the ordinance in question would apply, and then somehow that ordinance got misinterpreted. Both myself and Bob, Miss Guthiel, at the supervisors meeting, when the ordinance was brought up and read, questioned and argued that requiring a permit for just surfacing re-graveling was unaccepted and unreasonable. In fact, my Bob really got into it hot and heavy with Frank Powell over that very issue at that meeting. We didn't get enough public support to immediately cause an immediate change or how it could be interpreted or misinterpreted. I work very, very hard to do exactly what you believe in: low taxes and less intrusive, costly fees and less onerous, it's burdensome, regulations. It's ridiculous to force homeowners to pay for a permit fee when it's just periodic road maintenance. Our engineer explained to me there is a right way and a wrong way to initially design a gravel driveway intersection with the road, but I don't believe it should ever require a costly permit for surface driveway gravel maintenance. The particular permit, when issued for the appropriate purpose, new driveway, cement, hard top, and black topping, requires a permit, and our township's engineer to come out and inspect the finished job. That's just plain nuts to require all that for just periodic surface re-gravel maintenance of a private road. It's clear by reading the ordinance that it's meant for new road construction. That's being hard top, cement, or blacktop, and that is valid for water runoff / ice safety issues. Since that meeting, I've been working hard with our attorney, our engineer, and zoning officer to clearly define that ordinance as excluded surface re-gravel maintenance. That has now been accomplished. The official view now is that no permit is needed for simply surface re-gravel maintenance, and the supervisors will ensure that is permanently codified in our ordinance. Problem solved. Donna and Linda, we are absolutely in agreement on this issue, but it really, in reality, it no longer is an issue. If only you have just called me, I could have saved you both all that wasted effort. Believe me, if that definition hadn't been changed, I would have signed your petition myself. Both Carl Wadensky and myself were not on board with Frank Powell's that this ordinance might have something to do with driveway surface re-graveling or maintenance re-graveling. Now Donna should have paid for a permit not required for the short section of my lane where our bus chooses to re-gravel.
Wait, could you just
do
reread that
it
part?
Except,
I'm sorry, could you just back up and read, because I know what I wrote, but can you back up a little bit more?
now, Donna, who should have paid for a
There you go.
permit not required?
Right.
For the short section of my lane, Roar Bus chose to re-gravel when they decided to do it. Large area.
That means yelling, everyone. She's yelling over the internet, I believe. That's what it means.
First, Roar Bus does that for their own sake, not for mine, when their buses tear up and destroy my driveway so badly that they worry about their liability. At that point, they then repair the damage they have done. Donna, I did not order the gravel from wherever it was bought. I did not hire the truck driver who brought it out. I did not hire the operator who spread it. In fact, when I first saw the job, I was horrified. I was shocked. Not that they did it, but what horrible job they did without informing me they were coming out to do it. Go look at the terrible mess Roar Bus made on my driveway. My Cammy can hardly get over that uneven, sloppy, hilly gravel mess. When all the thick ice thaws that is still under some of that gravel, Bob will have to go straighten that mess out with our tractor. Actually, I'm not upset at them given the horrible conditions they had to work with, but I'm just telling you, you said you knew all is not great having many buses, which was one, destroy our private drive every year.
8 a day, come back and forth.
There is not 8 a day.
There's 8.
Or at least 4 a day. I have it on my trail cam.
There's one bus coming back 4 times, thank you.
Let her read her letter,
Okay,
and you guys
all right,
can all
go ahead.
chime in, okay?
This is what I mean.
Yeah, that's what I
That being said, Roar Bus was doing the best thing for the kids that they are responsible for and their own liability insurance, not me. When they decided to re-gravel that small strip that they use. With the thaw, that driveway had gotten so bad with 1.5 foot deep, soft mud ruts from their buses' use definitely not caused by my little pickup truck or my county's little use. So they worried the bus could sink down to its frame and get stuck, and even tilt the bus or tilt the kids could get hurt off loading on the icy, slippery ice. Nobody gets off. That actually happened a few years back. Luckily, no kids got hurt, but this year that portion of the lane was 6 to 8 inch thick of solid ice and almost impossible to stand on. That they graveled, it was their choice. In their business liabilities interest and the children's best interest, not a favor to me in any way. And it is a part of what is in their business interest and part of their overhead. I can't afford to resurface that driveway every 2 years. If no one else used our driveway but Bob and me, a thick graveling would last at least 15 years, as it did on our other lane. It's simply not fair to ask me to regularly pay for a permit, even if one were needed, which it is not, and to re-gravel that portion when I'm doing the township, the kids, and Roar Bus a favor by letting them use my driveway. They are more than welcome to use my lane for this kids' school bus turnaround, but at least they can pay for the permit, if one were needed, to repair the damage they did. They didn't do the repair as a favor to me, they did it for themselves. And again, I definitely don't ever use my position to seek special favors, ever. I work hard so everyone gets treated equally. No special treatment for anyone. Not me, not you, not anyone, and you know that. So why are you telling people otherwise? We might not be on best of terms, but I am not your enemy. I am the supervisor that works for most of the same things you believe in. Finally, I would very much appreciate you not saying to others that I trade on my position to get special treatment in any way for anything. I would never. I have asked you before not to say things that are untrue about me to the public. If you can prove any allegations, that one thing, you can't because I don't. But if not, you must stop spreading that kind of untruth about me. Like I said, we've had this discussion before. Please stop. Signed, Pat. P.S. Donna, I just spoke with the officials at Roar Bus Thursday. They told me they use many private driveways to turn around, and they feel it's a favor to them for the private landowner to allow them to use a private driveway. And more important, they always pay for the maintenance, and that includes the required permits. They don't seek a permit for my driveway because they just recently heard a permit might have been needed in Watts Township, which it is not. Does that sound like I was getting special favors? Donna, please have all the facts before you, again, make public false allegations about me. PSS. Now I have just been informed by several Watts Township citizens who were annoyed by you and your friends' visit that they are still going around falsely defaming me over this issue. It stops now. It stops now. How many times do you expect me to turn the other cheek? How plain can I make it? I never get or seek special favors for my position or as supervisor. If a permit would have been needed, I would have been Roar Bus's business responsibility to not mine, but none was needed. I was a driving force in getting the definition of that ordinance clarified to definitely exclude surface re-graveling maintenance of already existing driveways. And finally, you must stop falsely and publicly defaming my character about matters you seem to not understand or you're not up to date on. What good are you and your friends accomplishing getting a petition signed against a problem that was already solved? I don't get it. You need to know what you're talking about before you act. Donna, why don't you just call me and ask what is happening with an issue before you go around wasting you and your friends' time or telling people I am getting special treatment when I'm not? How does that help our Watts community? I am always willing to speak civilly with you and inform you on the latest about whatever I can that concerns you. Again, I am not your enemy. To iterate, Watts Township does not require a permit for surface maintaining and or re-graveling of a private driveway that already exists. By the way, the phone number you handed out to the people on as my phone number was incorrect. Let me help you. My correct phone number is 717-834-6744. And I did make a mistake. That was my fault. I called the
She was
person.
blaming me.
I called
She did
the
it.
person who owns the incorrect phone number you listed as mine in your flyer and apologized for your error and gave her my correct number to give to anyone who calls her wishing to talk to me. I want to be able to disseminate the correct facts. I am always willing to speak to you or Linda or anyone who wishes to discuss and be accurately brought up to date on any township issues they feel exist or take suggestions on how I can help make our township a better place to live. Pat. And all that I read in the whole end was all this big.
So what was wrong with any of it?
What was
What
wrong
was
with-
the lie about any of it? What are you saying was wrong? Back it up with facts.
Excuse me, I think I'm speaking to her.
This is a
She-
public
You're not the
meeting.
you're not the
We're done.
supervisor.
Done. Sit down.
She
Everybody.
is.
That's
Okay.
it. Sit down.
She is the
You're done.
supervisor.
You're done.
True.
Okay, but, okay.
We're
And
done. Go ahead.
just for everybody's edification, it just so happens that I do have a motion that I'm going to be putting forth tonight. I think,
But wait, what happened to this
Yeah,
email?
what happened?
He is the zoning officer, not you.
Was that
He's
one-
the one that
was
told
that
us we
one
needed the permits.
email?
Yeah.
Who
Was that
calls
all
the
one
shots?
that was one email.
Bob
Yeah,
or you?
Wow.
great.
That's what we want to know. Who
And
is the one?
Roar Bus was called, and she
Absolutely.
told them they needed a permit, and he asked for an ordinance.
Because Bob was the one that told me that
And-
Pat was getting a permit from Roar's Busing, because I said, I'm not getting a permit unless she gets a permit.
All right, Bob, did you tell them that they needed a permit at any point? Was there a point where they were told they needed a permit?
I told them under specific instances there is.
No, 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 you said if we,
Now,
there's
wait a
at
minute.
least
Wait,
four
wait,
people.
Who has the floor here?
I believe the people that you told who had to use or have a
people that
permit
called.
for stone to put on an existing driveway. There's 4 of them that called you, and you said they
Yes.
had to everyone.
Everyone, you did not call anyone back and say we do not need a permit.
But I got
So,
it.
who is the one? Are you in control of the zoning officer? Is the supervisors in control? And I had suggestions too. All Watts Township supervisors should comply with the core values of the township residents. Those values are loyalty, honesty, respect, selfless service, honor, and integrity. So we can't have one person telling us we need something and somebody else saying she's gonna get me because I'm slandering her. That is very sad as supervisors, and the whole community needs to know what is this ordinance and what's going on.
And as I'm saying,
right, well-
to get.
Wait, Frank has the floor.
Let's clarify a couple things that I heard, and then I think at the end of that, it said that you want to be able to disseminate the correct facts, and I agree with that, and discuss accurately whatever's brought up. Now, somehow, there's a view in there that I, at a previous meeting, said that graveling of driveways needed an ordinance.
There was clarification that needed to be made.
I asked for clarification with you, and you got upset that I asked for the clarification.
I read the ordinance to you, and it says that in her letter. I got a copy of the letter, the email or whatever letter I call it, and it says that, I read the ordinance to you, and it says paving and repaving, and that's what we discussed. There was no discussion from me or Carl or Pat that we needed
Stones.
a driveway permit to put stone on your driveway. It's only if you're paving or repaving your drive.
Read what was in the newsletter.
Yeah, read what was in the newsletter. Where is it?
Where did that come from?
We don't
wrote this,
know.
Addie? All right, I'll read you what the zoning officer put in. It says, "As spring slowly creeps upon us, I must remind all Watts residents that a permit is needed for most property improvements. These include erection of decks and outer accessory buildings, sheds, horse barns and shelters, driveway upgrades and restoring." And it says, "I'm available to anyone who may have questions," and gives his number. Where did you get restoring from?
From your sentence.
From me reading the ordinance? Where, okay, do you have the ordinance?
I do not have the ordinance with me.
I have the ordinance.
Yeah, now, wait a minute. Let me
Show me.
The whole thing.
Whoa, wait a minute.
Okay,
That article started the whole
let's let
thing.
him answer, where he got it.
Let me speak first, and then you can ask me further questions.
Maybe you
All
should
right.
stand up so everyone can hear.
Yes.
Folks, my name is Bob Hart. I've been a landowner here since '07. I was asked by the board to take on the zoning when
John
modern
Madden. John Madden.
Madden, upriver, became too expensive for me. That's a little background. But when I was asked specifically about the ordinance, I says, the way I read it, this is the way it is. And I have since been corrected, and I apologize for making that mistake. But in all instances, the one who makes the final decision on driveways is the township engineer. If you have a situation where you want to re-macadam, you need to go to the engineer and say, is this going to change any site distances or what have you?
And does that require a permit for an existing driveway?
Yes.
That's ridiculous.
If you're making changes to the driveway.
If you're maintaining your driveway,
Maintenance is a different story.
but if you put,
That's not how I read it.
no,
It says restoring, and that's what's caused
Yes.
our problem.
Yes.
That's why I asked you, where did you get restoring from?
Can I
Where
ask
did
a
you?
question?
Let's try to get this out so we can solve where this came from. Where did you get restoring? There's nothing in this ordinance, and even what we discussed that's cited by Pat at that meeting was for paving and repaving driveways. We read it directly from the ordinance. Nobody on this board said anything about putting stone on your driveway needing a
I
permit.
apologize if I worded it incorrectly.
well, that doesn't help
That
the
should have
people
been
that
run
had
by,
to pay.
don't we agree that that
pay
should have been run by
permits.
us first?
Exactly right.
It should,
So-
before you go jumping
Don't
out
make
and
any
doing
more
that,
decisions without.
Who put that in the newsletter?
Okay, that's.
Yes.
apparently he did.
I'd like
You
to
did?
say something. How does anybody even know what the ordinance is? I don't think anybody in the township knows what the full ordinance is. Is there some way that you
They're
can
back-
get to publicize?
We have at the township, all you gotta do is choose it on the website. Just go back there on Wednesday and she'll make you a copy.
That would be better if everybody would know.
Probably should be
what the
better.
ordinance
If you could put it on the website, that would be the best
Yeah,
answer.
we're working on the website.
Well, I don't have a website.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
We'll
you-
get you, I'll get you one.
You're gonna give me a website?
No, I'll get you.
Okay.
That is, like, you have a website.
Yeah.
it just,
Wait a minute, I have another comment.
updated.
No.
yeah, we're working on trying to find someone who knows how to work on a website.
For the last
Right.
2 years?
No.
Minutes, because you haven't had a minutes in there since
No, I,
2012.
there's two people,
That's gonna be a lot of adding up.
no, I know, I'll tell you what, if you know of anyone, there's two people I've been talking to who are computer literate when it comes to websites, because even with our community center, we've had problems keeping up the information for that.
You know, would this be a little project you have down at the school? Don't they have a computer section down there? You let them turn on, update your website there and teach whoever see it?
Yeah,
And let them type in
that would be-
16 months and minutes?
That would be, like I said,
I have
Maureen,
another comment then also.
What's that?
The only problem with that is that anyone that doesn't have a computer does not know what is going on in their own backyard. So I think it should, well, maybe they can.
Come to the meeting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Maybe
exactly right.
they
They'll
can.
come get you.
If they're working and they're older, no, I don't think that's fair. I
Well,
think there
anybody
should be
can-
something published
anybody
in
can
the
come
mail.
to the office, though.
I
We
have
have
another-
everything.
The cost of it?
Yes, when I first called Bob, Robert, it was for clarification for Jane. I didn't even get the what's happening. But when I was talking to him, I then called him if we do or do not need a permit for stone on the driveway. Mr. Hart says yes. I said, I never needed a permit before for 30 years. Why now? You do need a permit now. It's my job. I then asked, what is the ordinance and who signed it? He told me, Pat, Carl, and Charlie someplace. I then asked him, what about Pat? She just got stone from Roar on her driveway. Did she get a permit for her stone? Let me check. So he hangs up and he calls Pat, okay? And please don't sue me for this. And then called back and said,
I have a letter.
yes,
I have
two
a
of them.
letter that she said she's gonna sue her,
He
Not
then
in
called
that
back and
but
said,
I have it.
Not
she
that
was
letter.
going to contact Roar and get them to provide
We're just going
permits.
back and forth.
If the
Yeah.
supervisor
Shut
would
her
have been, and when I go on down
Just
through
going back
here,
and
I said
forth.
nothing. It's not about Pat, it's about the permit. So I have to pay for a permit, but not her. He then said, what do you have against Pat? I said, nothing, but I am not paying for a permit. And she signed, besides, she signed the ordinance, she didn't get the permit, and why should I? So if the supervisors would be aware and communicate ahead of time and know the facts before they come out telling the public that we need permits, because she was actually getting a permit. It was Carl that stopped it all, because I found him at 8 o'clock in the morning, I believe.
That was 7 o'clock in the morning.
I'm sorry, I was off by an hour. But Carl's the one that stopped it all. We think, but we have heard nothing back from Bob yet saying that we no longer need a
Well,
permit.
and I sent you a letter. You saw
That
that.
was a very bad letter, and please do not send me any more communications.
Okay,
Okay.
we're bringing it to a halt right now.
Okay.
But
We're
I
done.
think you should let Charlie speak it on why he signed, wait a minute, why he signed that. Charlie, tell them what you said as far as why you signed that back when you did. You
Well, I
explained
signed
about,
it because, first of all, it was modeled after the state ordinance. And
Yes.
secondly, you need that kind of ordinance to keep people from putting in bad driveways.
Right.
The only thing is, when it comes to interpretation,
It's all
it's
different.
bad.
there's a lot of leeway. One person interprets it one way, another person another way. So there's things that have to be deciphered. But
Right. So that's why I'm proposing.
What this is about is not even in there.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. And I think that's our
Yeah.
problem. There's nothing in here that has to do with anybody paying for stone for fixing their driveway. It's just if you pave your driveway or repave it, because we can't fix that with our grader.
Right.
If we'll bust our grader trying to tear your driveway. That's the only reason it covers repaving and paving.
Wait a minute, I got whatever.
Yeah, my name's Dale Bishop. I was section driveway that's been there since 1964. And all I did was blacktop it. I had to get a permit for that. I didn't change the driveway in any way. It's exactly the same it was since 1964.
Okay, who
Brian.
did you want?
We cannot, let
Dale.
us, just a second, let me point out. If you understand what we're saying about the paving though, maybe you would have changed the grade of the
Well, I
shoulder.
did.
But
But
he
you
didn't.
didn't. We don't know that without a permit. We have no way of knowing.
Why
engineer
can't you
has to-
just come out and expect a job instead of having somebody pay for something that they already have?
And that's a possibility.
Yeah, we can.
That would be a good
And
thing.
again, I've
You're
got,
next.
when I do have an ordinance that I'm not an ordinance, a motion.
Go ahead.
Okay. We're discussing section 6 of the driveway ordinance. It says, and I quote, No person shall hereafter initiate, install, or allow to be performed any work towards the installation or paving of a driveway, any land disturbance within the public ROW, and/or construction change to an existing driveway without first obtaining a permit from the board. First part states a driveway cannot be installed or paved without a permit. Section 1, where the terms are defined, a driveway is defined as a vehicular right-of-way providing access between a public road and a parking area or garage with a lot or property. It does not matter whether your driveway is 50 feet or 500 feet long. This ordinance applies to your entire driveway. The words "any land disturbance" are overly broad. A land disturbance is not defined in section 1. As the ordinance is written, landscaping or replacing a mailbox post could be considered a land disturbance and require a permit. The next part states that any construction change to an existing driveway requires a permit. Adding stones to a driveway is a change and would therefore require a permit. Due to section 6, it is demanded that we ask the board's permission and pay a fee to do practically anything to our driveway and any of our lawfully purchased land within the township's right-of-way. And I'm interpreting the ROW to mean right-of-way, which is usually about, 25 feet from center line of the road? 16. Okay. It's not defined within the ordinance as to what ROW is. Okay, then we get to section 15, which is the penalties for not obeying this ordinance, and this is great.
Yeah.
These penalties include a fine of up to $1,000, paying costs of prosecution, paying the township's attorney's fees, and up to 30 days in prison. This is all for the trumped-up crime of making a change to our own property. Okay? You know, we've been told how free our country is all the time. All right? We have laws, regulations, and ordinances, such as what I'm holding in my hand right here, make a mockery of this concept of freedom, ignore the principles upon which our country was founded, and betray those who have fought and in some cases died for our freedom. In this township, why don't we start restoring our freedoms by repealing this ordinance?
Absolutely. Yes. And we all know.
Yeah, I want.
Okay, yeah.
I was gonna,
This is my first time, and it's my fault for not coming. But I've sat here and I've just seen bickering back and forth, people making, they don't realize they're facing the public, making comments to each other about a board member who's speaking, which is very unprofessional. I, as a taxpayer, as well as everybody else in here, has paid a lot of money in taxes to support this township. I used to go to the board meetings and I never saw it. That document that you guys put in place, in your interpretation, what I was told by one of the ex-board members, that was for new driveways.
That's exactly.
Nowhere in that documentation does that say that.
Right.
So before, and the other thing of it is, we used to get notifications of what you guys decide to do. We don't get that anymore. And that's not right, because we're relying on you, we vote for you people to be in this board to support us.
That was an amendment, I think.
I don't care what it was. It went out and it caused all these people, especially the elderly. I have a permit for my driveway. It was inspected. I'm grandfathered. But there's farmers in here that you people, they support us. They support the people that don't have, they're paying more taxes than a lot of you other ones are. And this is not right. And you all should be ashamed of yourself.
Can I just say one thing? Number, as I read it, what, I'm sorry. Oh,
I have another, go ahead.
well, it's gonna.
We'll get to that.
Okay,
Let's
okay.
Okay, I have just one thing to say. Ms. Guthiel called me.
Yourself, sir.
Pardon me?
Could you introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm John Heffenfinger.
Thank you.
Linda's my wife. Okay? Most people in here probably already know me. We've been around forever. Anyway, Ms. Guthiel called me on the 3rd of this month.
23rd.
Or the 23rd of this month, I'm sorry. At 10:05 a.m. on Sunday morning and started reading me the riot act on this ordinance, you know, about the stoning of the driveway. And she told me, you know, I'll condense it down. I'm not going to stand here and tell you everything because I don't have enough time. It's like the letter that Linda wrote that she sent to her. She just went on and on and on the phone. But anyway, what she told me is the ordinance was rescinded.
It was no good. We were passing out a paper that was no good.
For a permit. If it was rescinded, why did she have to pay for a permit?
I didn't pay.
She didn't pay.
They was going to charge you for a permit.
That's what they told
And
us.
why is it fair for somebody else to get stoned that they don't know's coming, and you gotta, you're open and honest, and you put stone on yours, and you gotta pay a permit? That's not right.
I didn't know we had a, I didn't
And
know
you,
we had a
and you had to
ruling
pay
like
for a
that.
permit. I mean, this young man did an awesome job. He's like me, he's pretty angry, you can tell. But the thing of it is why does one side of the township get away with something, somebody else gets away with something else, and somebody else is paying the pot?
That's- yeah.
It's gotta stop.
That is, just so you know, that's not the way I ever look at anything. My feeling is, and how I,
That's because you weren't born and raised in here, you don't understand.
I've been
that
here
we
30
go by
years.
I don't care if you were here 5
I've been here
years.
76 years.
well, but what is,
They know.
well, so, but what does that have to do with how long you've been here? What, I'm not sure what relevance it is.
Why do we, as taxpayers, have to pay for you guys' arguments? Why do we have to get letters that you can't send us out board meeting minutes because it's expenses, as I just heard her say, but you can send out letters stating she said, he said. You know what? I raised my kids. Dramas, I don't take drama. I don't do drama. I don't like drama. I don't like to see it in my mailbox. But that's hideous. You can't, as adults, sit up there and resolve your problems, that you don't have to get lawyers involved and slander each other, and you can't, the whole purpose of you three sitting up there was to help us.
And who paid for it? Was our
We did
tax
as
dollars?
taxpayers, yes, I understand that, but my point on all this is, why can't you do the job that we put our trust and loyalty into you three to do? Why can't you do that without sitting there bickering?
Well, I'm not, when
No,
you're, well, okay.
You send a letter out, don't ask me.
I mean,
You send a letter out about Mr. Powell, you know, so, and you send a letter to these ladies.
Yeah,
It's bickering, to me it's bickering.
all right.
It's
Well,
Part
some,
of the
okay.
concern here was that, first, we gotta resolve getting letters or stuff published. I mean, we're gonna address that.
Yeah,
So
and-
that what goes out is what we want to go out and not something that's surprise, this is a total surprise to me. I didn't know this was gonna come out and it just appeared and it's caused some alarm. We gotta address that. But part of the other problem is misinformation. I mean,
Yes.
Pat was giving information out that says that the definition has been changed and nothing's been done to this 2010 ordinance since it was
Not, okay,
adopted.
not changed, but what I'm saying
Pat, you
is,
said
You
here.
said it was revised.
that's a revised,
Hold on, Pat, just let me read what you wrote. Believe me, if that definition hadn't been changed, I would have signed your petition, but nothing's been
the
changed, Pat.
interpretation is the
The
problem.
point being, misinformation can't go out like this. Here's my opinion, people.
It wasn't read right.
This is a 3-page letter. All we needed to do, she needed to do, and any of us should do for you, is say, I'm sorry, there's a misunderstanding,
That's what we
something went
did do.
wrong, please come to the meeting. I don't think any of us deserve 3 pages of whatever you want to
You
call
might
this.
think that, but when you're getting slandered, you have to answer.
Excuse me, she was not getting slandered.
I certainly
Donna
was.
said what the enforcement officer said. That's all we did.
There was a misunderstanding
It
there.
wasn't a misunderstanding. It wasn't.
Her email sent it to my email.
Yeah.
I don't want it.
That's because,
No,
I don't want
she
it.
accused me of things I didn't do.
Okay.
How do you justify that?
Can I just interject one thing?
yeah,
First of all, 2 of you I know, okay? Pat, I don't know you.
okay.
I've been dealing in public service for over 32 years. Somebody's got to be the adult in the room here,
Yes.
okay? act professional.
We have.
You work for us, we
That's
don't
right.
work for you.
Absolutely.
Now,
I agree.
your signature's on this.
Yep. Two
Carl's, yours is too. This ordinance is poorly written. Poorly written, okay? Nothing in here says anything about new sites, old sites. If you don't know how to write an ordinance, instead of having lawsuits, pay somebody who knows how to write an ordinance.
Well, I didn't write it, number one, but.
Now, my last thing, this is the only township that I know outside of a borough or town that doesn't send out a quarterly newsletter. I don't want to hear about the cost. You people have wasted hundreds of thousands of dollars on lawsuits because you didn't do your homework. You didn't do your homework. We don't care what your opinions are. You're here to do a job. Do your job. Leave all the other stuff outside.
I
These
concur.
people here in this room all have a legitimate complaint.
Oh, I agree. I understand.
And I don't think you do.
I don't think so
I don't think
either.
you do, because if you did, you wouldn't be waving this paper around.
I know,
That paper, you have in your hand.
This is something
We're not
else.
talking about that paper. We're talking about this ordinance. This ordinance needs to be changed.
And that's exactly what I'm gonna.
No. This ordinance needs to be changed, but before it's changed, there has to be some input from the community.
That's right.
From the community, not the three. And somebody who knows how to write an ordinance.
That's right. Yes.
Not whatever this thing is. I'm sorry. That's all
No,
I have to say.
that's, yeah, and again, I'm always, okay, just.
With regards to doing the homework, I have this book here. Okay, my name is Carmelita Loudon. I'm Lloyd Loudon's wife. With regards to what that gentleman was talking about, our liberties and our freedoms, and how this country is beginning to look like a joke, and how the regulations and all these things keep piling up and piling up. I don't know if any of you, particularly you guys here, okay, need to read this book, Agenda 21, United Nations, with ICLEI,
You
and
gave
all
me
the
a copy of it.
non-governmental organizations that are coming in through the local government, which is you guys, okay, the townships. I mean, it's appalling when you read this stuff. I mean, it's like unreal. So I can, it's called Behind the Green Mask, if anybody wants to buy one. United Nations Agenda 21 with ICLEI, non-GMO organizations. I mean, it's very scary, and it's coming in through here, piling up regulations, piling up ordinances and stuff. And I'm telling you, the goal of all of this, let me find the page. I've looked at so many of these. Here. In a nutshell, the plan calls for governments to take control of the land use and not leave any of the decision-making in the hands of the private owners. ICLEI, okay? ICLEI, well, United Nations 10 to 21 comes through the policies that are woven into all of the general plans of the cities, townships, counties, in the United States. It's important for people to know where these policies are coming from, where all this government regulation and all this crap, the ordinances and everything's coming from. It's coming down the line through here. ICLEI, okay, a non-governmental organization called the International Council of Local Environmental Initiatives. ICLEI is the name, ICLEI, is tasked with carrying out the goals of the United Nations 21 locally. Over 600 cities and counties in the United States are members. The costs are paid by taxpayers. So, I don't know about you guys, but everyone on this board needs to, like tomorrow, buy a copy of this. I mean, seriously. Now, as far as this lady right here talking about, saying that we don't get information, you're saying we're not notified. I want to know who was notified about the cell phone tower on Huggins Road on the Sasman's property. Who was notified?
Nobody.
So we want to know how
It was a public hearing.
allowed this to go on, because no notification was sent out to
It was in the
everybody I
newspaper.
talked to on Huggins Road in our community did not know one single thing about these cell phone towers. Now, Mrs. Sasman
It
apparently
came through
said
the planning
to
commission,
Bonnie,
and it came through the public
yeah, the
meetings.
planning commission. This is why you need to read
But
this
you
book,
need to
is
go
what you
to
guys
those
are doing.
things.
But in any case, the Sasman said they're not really getting any money, okay, for this cell phone tower to be on their property. I'm here to tell you, they are going to get, this is all research, you can look it all up, they're going to get anywhere from $6,000 to $10,000 a month for putting that cell phone tower on that property, which is going to affect especially all of us out there on Huggins Road, okay? Now, I have some things that you can pull up here as far as the health hazards, as far as the cell phone towers and the Wi-Fi and all that. You can look up radio frequency radiations, your biological impacts to your DNA of these cell phone towers. Okay, you can look that up. You can look up wired child dash Wi-Fi. You can look up Thermo Guy, Curtis Bennett, who is an electrician. They actually say that the cell phone towers are actually frying our DNA slowly. I mean, this is how they describe it, okay? So, first of all, was really upset about the cell phone tower because none of us knew. And then
Your
when I
husband
found
is
out,
on the board, your husband is on the zoning hearing board.
yeah, well, he never told me anything until a week after. A week later, Lloyd says to me, he mentions about the cell phone tower. I said, what are you talking about? He goes, yeah, they're gonna put one on
It was
Fresno Farm. I'm like,
advertised.
are you kidding me? What are you
How was he
talking
supposed to
about?
get the information?
He said, yeah, they already voted on it. I said, oh my gosh, Lloyd, people are going to kill you. I said, that's ridiculous. I said, you know how dangerous they are.
Do you have a cell phone? That's what I was.
Yeah, last Thursday, there was an article. Last Thursday, there was an article on naturalnews.com about all of the health hazards of the cell phone towers. I mean, whoever's laughing and thinks it's a joke, okay, you can laugh, but you can pull it up on the internet and you can check it for yourself.
We're not laughing, we're just saying we all have cell phones.
Yeah.
So the only way to get rid of cell phone towers is if we all put our cell phones on.
But you know what? We all had cell phones before. We all had cell phones before the Sasmans decided to put the cell phone tower there on the property. But what I'm saying to you guys is, don't let them tell you they're not getting paid hardly anything for putting that on their property, because they're getting thousands and thousands of dollars a month. I mean, they really are.
Okay, hold it, we're done. Sit down.
Issue was in Stockstill Township, the Duncan record, over the one over there, that's been talking about this also.
Okay, and then the second thing is the fact that it is Verizon, okay? Out of all the carriers, okay, this is Verizon. I'm gonna tell you about Verizon. I was a paralegal for over 15 years. I worked for our state attorney general, the top law office of the state.
Hey, lady.
And when I worked for the attorney general, wait a minute, we sued Verizon, okay? And we won millions.
I'm setting the time right now.
Millions of money for our customers because Verizon is a very unethical company. They're taking care of them. That's what I have to tell you. You guys can look that up too. It's in the record.
Let me ask everybody that's left here, are there people out there who would be willing to sit on a committee to help rewrite our driveway ordinance?
I would.
Are there others? It's gonna take some time. We will have guidance on information.
Information did the last one.
We wanna do something that
No wonder you're for the Sasmans making $1,000 a month.
it's worse than this.
To fry the rest of us.
So we cut it out.
Why don't you buy a house on top of the road and see if you want complaints?
Being serious,
All right,
guys.
wait, can I,
We got a couple
We
people.
need better, we need
Anybody
better
that's,
communication.
here's the problem, We sat here tonight, we heard a lot of complaints. But doggone it, we need some help, we need your input.
That starts the federal government.
You know, and when I ask you to step up and do the input, somebody's gotta help us. You know, we're only talking about maybe one night a month. We'll rewrite, we'll think, we'll redo it.
I do agree.
Okay,
We need some public involved here, if we're gonna complain about it.
Where's the younger generation? You know, our time is numbered, your dad too. So
By the way, I'm going loud and
generation told us this is
I just want to tell you that.
What night a month are you
I don't know. Whoever wants to be on this committee, come up and sign a paper and give an address, and we'll call you when we're gonna have a meeting. How's that?
He says if you're interested in helping us, you may not
Sign your name.
on the committee, but sign the paper saying you're willing to, somebody get a hold of us.
Where do they live at?
Put it over here so we can.
The zoning officer. You have 3 permits?
yes. I'll get it out for you.
Do you live on Huggins Road? Do you live on Southern Tower? She goes, no. I said, okay. And that's the reason why you care about them making $1,000 a month.
I didn't hear that. Just want to go I'm Nancy Kendall. Hi. Not one?
Being honest. Well, there, yeah, a supervisor, have to be registered to vote. You have to reside in the township for at least a year.
The reason I asked is because this gentleman over here hasn't lived here but maybe a couple of months.
Well, the zoning officer is, that's different.
So we the people.
That's different. Yeah.
We the people.
Yeah. I'm always available to answer questions. I'm always available to answer questions.
I called him because he was the most reasonable of the three. That's why I said, I didn't get a chance to say that, did I?
No, I never replied.
Yeah, did you? All right.
Well, do I read this or not?
I don't know. I wouldn't bother at this point. Well, read it, see what they say. Oh, there.
The zoning officer. Robert.
Because nobody, not one person raised their hand in this room about the cell phone tower. Not one person. Nobody knew about it until the thing was up. And not like that, they have all this crap on the road. I just want a brand new car. It's like, wow, look at the road, driving. I don't know what they're doing, but up and down the road, I'm like, why don't they?
I'm going to read an ordinance, a motion.
There was no meeting. God bless you.
Everybody done? Signing up?
James.
Where is that zoning?
Over here. We are done with our meeting.
No, the guy has.
Do you know what more people will clear out?
I know, but we gotta move it on.
I didn't even think about it. I don't even know what the rules are.
I'll get you a copy.
No.
And then I'll get down there.
We're good. We got, yeah.
Some of this started out with Donna saying,
Hey, Jerry, you want to, do you have anything? Do you have anything? Red Lucas driveway.
The Lucas driveway, I don't know what was repaid. I went out and measured. The bottom driveway is okay. The upper driveway is flat, but I don't think it's right around driving, but it looks like the water does run out on the road.
No, it runs back.
And I said, so I was told to look at it. If it hasn't caused a problem this year with icing or anything, it's probably
The only thing caused the problem was that pipe up there came out.
Yeah, but that was for that other problem.
That's the other, that's his sister. That guy died of a heart attack. They moved out there.
Yeah, but I said, but I don't know, it looks like we should do some shoulder grading.
Yeah, we're gonna work on that.
But I said, but as far as Luton Drive, I said, it looked like the water stayed back. It wasn't going to be a problem. It doesn't meet our ordinance. But the bottom driveway is back in.
Right, the state requires, I understand how permits for that stuff.
Am I getting this tonight?
Single mom, one father, right.
I gave you that last one.
No, I had enough of kids in my life, buddy. I had 95 foster kids. And adopted 8. So I had enough of kids, I'm done.
Oh, I thought you gave me
My husband passed away 3 years ago, so I have 4 kids on my
That's everything lumped together here. That's the real estate tax, that's the capital tax, and that's the
Fire tax.
the fire tax. Yeah, I don't break it down. Yeah, 5708. Yeah. Yep. I guess I could do that. Real estate capital and fire tax. Oh, well. Okay, all right. Call the meeting back to order.
Yes, sir.
I don't know what you're doing, but you're still under good welfare. That trooper back there just wants to give his report so he can leave.
Okay, time to come up there.
He wants to address us.
Huh?
Oh, he wants to.
Time to come up.
Well, he wants to address it. He'll address it when you get order or whatever. I just want to let you know.
I'm gonna get you a gavel.
Yeah. Okay, everybody, watch up. Policeman wants to give you a report.
Yes. Could you
go ahead?
Speak loudly.
Shush, shush.
The trooper have anything?
Oh.
You're up, trooper. Do you have something for the board?
I brought nothing with me.
Okay.
Yeah.
We don't want to hold you up, that's all. We know we're running pretty long tonight.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. We have nothing from the SEO. Did he have a permit or something? JC.
Yeah. I mean, it's in the bills and you'll see,
Okay.
you know, who he's done work for.
Okay.
He doesn't call me.
Solicitor, billing,
I have nothing for
okay.
Wait a minute.
Did we decide, you had a note though that said we could bill back about after the work was called.
I'm sorry, yeah, I mean, there's nothing in the law that says you can't go back as long as you want. There's a statute in that law, we looked at it. Something reasonable, if you, I don't know, if you redo the records. So, I mean, you're left with going back a few years.
Yeah, he's 5 years now, reasonable, that's something, it's probably as far back as she wants to get.
Yeah, I mean, you know, budget, how far can you go back? The law doesn't say. I mean, I think it would be looking at equitable principles, a couple years, 2, 3, how much are we talking about?
Because it's based on population.
Right, and this is
So
New
it's-
Buffalo Borough, right?
Right, it's
So
not.
it's gotta be a minimum, I mean, are we
Yeah.
talking $100, $200?
Well, that I don't honestly know because I just now found paperwork for the 11-12.
Well, I mean, it's up to the board. What is reasonable? It strikes me a couple years.
2, 3 years? So, 3 years, then we say 3, but 5 at the very maximum. Does that make sense? Or
And you see what response, you can do that and see what response you get from New Buffalo Borough.
Okay. Okay, all right. As long as we have the answer or the explanation, then we can make a decision later.
Back comes the report.
I gave your monthly report for the finances. Gave the end of the driveway that was hit. Should be fixed in the next 2 weeks. The sign, the Boy Scout Eagle project. I've got another Eagle Scout, so he will be starting the sign, and I'll be coming to the board with the presentation and everything with the Eagle Scout. That would probably be cleaned up after the summer. He approached me about 3 weeks ago, and that's positive. We'll finally get a sign put back up and right. We have a coin auction the 19th of this month. No, the 17th, I'm sorry, that's Thursday. I think the doors open at 5:30, we'll have food there. Other than that, we're busy. Call about every 2 days for the last 3 months, so that's busy for us. Other than that, everything. Did you get the zoning permit for that sign? Did I give it to you? I have all the paperwork. All right. But I was waiting on. I just didn't want it to expire on you and then. Yeah, but I need all the. Yeah, we said we wouldn't charge you for it, just. But this guy, he's only 16, so he has a couple of years before he's 18, so. Yeah, you gotta get it. So we will
Okay, we're going to old business. Spring cleanup date is changed to June the 7th. Close out the.
Are we taking the No, last year we didn't, because we started this one.
No, not for appliances, for electronics. Electronics is what we wouldn't take.
So we're not taking electronics.
So we're taking.
No, wait, yeah.
This says electronics, TVs, and computers.
$10 per each unit.
How do we decide that?
And we can take them, all of them, take them down.
For $10 a piece, then it is feasible to do it as a courtesy. If people don't want to take them there, they can take them to Best Buy. What? We usually get more than that. Or they can take them down to Best Buy for nothing.
We didn't take them last year, though. That's the question. How do we decide to take them this year? When did we decide to take them? I think we are going to take them.
I have a question. Whenever cleanup comes, can anybody come there and take whatever they want?
Take whatever they want.
Yes. The people that are bringing in their trash and unloading it.
You want to be a garbage man?
No, I don't want to. I really don't want to do anything like that. Take whatever, people bring something good in, like a...
You come here, if you see something, you can have it, but the matter is,
we have an area that we should set aside, because there's a lot of good stuff that comes out.
I mean, people throw good stuff away.
Yeah, well, we were just considering raising money for the community center by having a yard sale of good used stuff.
Oh, my.
Forest Town.
I'm holding off on that. I'm holding off on that because I haven't gotten the complete audit stuff ready, and I don't want to close the account until, and I'm going to have that stuff to the auditor's coming to me in the next couple of weeks.
Okay. Did you work on safety deposit box, right?
Yes, if it was just me, no problem, but since it's two supervisors also having access, a resolution has to be drawn up to that effect.
Okay, this is computer security. Expert, did you look at that? Okay. Okay, people Rising Sun are getting a letter about thinking they own the road, out to the road, their yards.
That hasn't went out yet, has it?
No.
We're just working on it.
Well, we're on that. I had a question. In the minutes last month, it said, informing them that the edge of the property line is not theirs, and I think we want like the edge of shoulder or some kind of wording to that. I don't know where their property line is.
Property line should be, there's some nice stakes for the property line, you can see them.
Well, but I mean, their property line may go to the middle of the road, but
I don't think they're at 25.
you may have to look at that deed, because their deed may only go to the right of way line. They used to write them that way.
Yeah.
They have to pull the deed out. So,
yeah.
property line may not be the word, we want to make sure they understand shoulder, we need to maintain our shoulder.
Okay, saldo, did you look at anything on that?
Yes, I did find a folder, and Pat enlightened me on the gentleman from R2 that worked on it, so I'm planning on moving forward with that also.
Okay, and we're going to build New Buffalo for the workers' comp.
Yes, I found 2011, 2012 figures.
Okay, and the credit card, we need 3 years audit.
I electronically filed our 2012 audit report. Now, I have to get 2011, but then again, I'm looking at recategorizing all the dollar amounts into the proper accounts.
Okay. Okay, now...
what about the 2014 audit? Did they approach you to start it yet?
The 13?
The 14, yeah.
13, 14, yeah.
No, I told them that I would let them know when I'm ready, and I got through from January to April. I had a lot of documentation to get So that's why I'm saying within the next couple weeks here, I will be moving that on to the auditors.
I think it's supposed to be in and done by May. Are we gonna be able to get them on it?
Yeah,
Okay. Does last year's audit need advertised or accepted by us or anything, or is this just a document that gets stowed away?
no, it needs to be advertised, and I needed to get those dollar figures correct on the audit form. And now that I have those correct, I'll get Tom to redo his audit form, because I used the figures off the audit form to advertise it.
Okay.
We're in a new business. Extra hours for the next 3 months. How many did you have this time, Nancy?
I had 20 3/4 from January to March.
Think it'll be the same ballpark? I say 24
I would say
hours.
24.
Okay.
I mean, I get this audit work stuff done. Once I'm working with my own things, things are gonna go a lot easier and smoother.
You're trying to go back through that stuff.
Right.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I'll make a motion here to have 24 hours allotted for Nancy for the next 3 months.
And I second that motion.
Okay, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Okay, change the time of the meeting to 6:30?
6:30 or 6?
6:30.
we just discussed, oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Did you have a preference?
Oh, 6:30.
I can probably make 6:30.
Yeah,
Now we gotta re-advertise.
right. I make a motion, we change our meetings to 6:30.
I second the motion.
All in favor, aye.
All right, well, while we're at it, can we change it to the firehouse? My feet are still cold.
We pay the money here.
Well, we pay the money here, but the firehouse has heat and air conditioning, and they have that big room they've offered to us, where the trucks used to be.
We'll think about it.
Well, I'll make the motion to move to the firehouse. My goodness, the firehouse they got tables set up and everything. They have their meetings there, and Joby said, we're welcome to use it.
Excuse me, would that be announced here tonight so that everyone that is here
It would
knows
have to be
that they would
advertised.
have that?
Yeah.
Have it
We always have to
advertised?
advertise
Where though?
The time change.
Where would it be advertised?
Done Cannon Record.
People don't
News
get
Sun.
the done Cannon
What do they,
record.
Well, a lot of people complain because they'd love to see it on the internet. And some of the older people do not get the internet.
Yeah.
So even if you could like zap once a month, something to, hand carrying, whatever it takes, if you would get people to sign up for the internet for those people, and then the other people, if you could mail them, it's basically the older ones.
So they
That
all
would
can
be
keep
nice.
a tune of what's going on.
Because a lot of people's complaining about that.
Oh, well, I understand.
And we anticipated probably 2 years ago seeing this on the internet, we never did.
It's a pain in the butt, for, do that, but hey, we can do it. 2 of us. We can cover this whole township.
Yes, we can do that in 2 days.
Yes.
So I'm sure the township supervisor should be able to notify.
If we want something done, it's done.
It takes a lot of people to make things.
No, it don't take
No,
a few.
only takes a few.
Well, that's,
Few dedicated.
Yes.
okay. So the motion was made, I'm
Since
sorry.
we're advertising the time change for these meetings anyway, we have to advertise that. I'm gonna make a motion to change the meeting place to the firehouse and advertise it all at once for the remainder of the year.
You gotta have a second.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him a second right now. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Okay, new recorder.
Vote, everybody vote on that.
Huh?
Did everybody vote?
Did you vote, Pat?
I'm not for that.
Excuse me. New recorder.
You guys put the address.
Yeah.
You need a new recorder?
Yes, this one does not, I cannot adjust the volume high enough, people don't talk loud enough. I need a recorder that I can adjust the volume on.
Okay, I'll make a motion.
And I can get it for about $60 or less. I'm about to do that.
Okay, on the roadmaster, I didn't find an 18-inch bucket yet, but I did find a guy has a snowplow out in Nashville, PA, and Ian has a snowplow he'll give us.
Oh,
If I
that's
can make
pretty
it-
nice.
If I can make it,
Did he leave?
Yeah.
It's his
I think he
bedtime.
did.
It's past his bedtime.
the planning commission report.
We went through all that.
Yep, we were actually doing everything. That's on there.
Yep.
Hey, Carl, I want to make sure you let me know whether you want me to attend these meetings on a regular
Okay.
basis, or let me know by motion.
Okay. Do we, okay, well, we can contact you when we want to.
Okay, so it's, just give me an advance notice, so I don't have to plan to be here in May.
No, I don't think there's nothing we have really is gonna be coming up in May, right?
Okay, so it'll be, you'll let me know as
Yeah, or the
much
next
in
one,
advance.
right.
And you'll be at the firehouse.
Okay.
6:30. Just give me the address so I can stick it into my cell phone.
I don't even know the answer.
Down at the bottom of the road.
Bottom of the road?
Okay, on our
Bottom of
plan,
Black Snake.
we went through all those.
Closer.
You can't miss.
I can get a motion to pay the bills.
I have a question on a couple of them. We have bills going out to J.C. J.C. Smith
Yeah.
for the SEO fees, but we show none coming to me. Why is that?
Well, when I get one or two checks, I tend to hold on to them, and I just got these checks, and I will be going to the bank tomorrow to deposit those checks.
Oh, you think they were on last month?
Yes, and I got a check from our tax collector, which I am depositing tomorrow. It was a rather large check, so.
You got 2 from me.
Yes, and I got 2 from Bob, so they will show up on next month's report.
And how much energy propane did we get for $2,700? Did it go up for
The
us
price.
like it did for everybody
Yeah,
else?
it's in there. The price is through the roof. It is.
$2,700 for fuel.
More than double.
No, there's the fuel for
Living in Newport.
That's what I'm saying.
The only other one I have is there's a reimbursement for a saldo class for Pat.
Yeah, it was a three-week course. It was the same one that Carl had taken and the PC had taken in the past. It was over a 3-week period this last month.
Did we approve that as a board, or did you just go?
Well, it came up after the meeting. It came up the last month, in March.
You went to 3 meetings.
I went to 3 meetings. And it's just reimbursement for the course, the cost of the course, which is what has been done. I didn't ask for mileage reimbursement either. All I did was ask for
No,
them.
but we've always approved them before. Like sending somebody to the conference or something.
Well, in this case, Frank, like I said, it was a matter of, it had already, it was a matter of.
I don't have a problem paying it this time, but I'd ask in the future that even
Well,
if it
of
comes
course.
up at the last minute,
Yeah.
you could have called me, you could have given them.
I talked to Carl about it.
You could have given a,
Oh,
yeah, that's
there's
what you
3
tend to do.
supervisors.
2 people. Now, we're a board. That's what the people are trying to say to you.
Yes.
We're a board. Start communicating.
Well, that's fine.
You failed to do that.
Again.
Okay, next motion, pay the bills.
Again.
I make a motion to pay the bills
I
this week.
second it. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Motion adjourned.
I have a
second that.
motion that I'd like to make here on this advertising, and the motion, I'll just read it. All public advertising and public notices from any of the board's representatives shall be approved in advance by the Board of Supervisors at a public meeting prior to publication.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank
yes.
you. Thank you.
Did everyone hear that? What he said?
Okay. You make a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it. All in favor, aye.
Aye. I've got a motion I would like to make, if I've been wanting to make it for a while. I make a motion to instruct our solicitor to modify our driveway ordinance such that non-contour changing driveway maintenance, i.e. simple blacktop resurfacing and surface-only gravel maintenance or re-graveling of a previously installed driveway, i.e. non-new driveway, does not require a permit or an engineer inspection unless that driveway subsequently causes a stormwater runoff or safety issue. And that also, and this is either part of it or a secondary one, that also that we keep copies of the newly modified driveway ordinance at the township office to hand out to the township residents so they can understand and the proper safe way to have a driveway.
You realize that motion would say that you can pave your driveway any way you like, and we come along and we.
You know, I think, Pat, at this point in time, I think I would hold on that. You have a right to interpret this ordinance in certain ways. I mean, you don't have to get a permit for resurfacing gravel, that kind of, you have some interpretation authority. You're going to form a committee, I think, to look at the ordinance,
well,
right?
that's, since that's.
It might be
and that's
best
fine.
now to hold on
But I
that.
just wanted to let them know that I had this in the works, it was not
That
something
doesn't
that.
change the emails.
Can I ask a question? What is the status right now for somebody who wants to re-gravel? Right now.
Let's settle that right now. I'll make a
Yes.
motion.
Yes.
Do you want to rescind that, or?
Well, nobody
I
seconded
didn't
it.
even second it.
I'll make the motion right now. Re-graveling, resurfacing, with the exception of paving your driveway, does not require a driveway permit.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What
Now,
about the people-
repaving though, why do they need a permit to repave if they're doing it the same way it was
Only
before?
the section in the
In the,
shoulder.
The
You
approach.
need to make sure that you don't
Yeah.
pave like
Proper.
this, you have
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So,
I-
come get a permit,
yeah.
if it's a hardship on you, we can waive the fee, it's not a problem, but we need
Thank
to
you.
make sure that we're not gonna hit it with a snowplow or
Right.
whatever.
well, we have a big dip at the end of ours. It's been there for years
If our
and
road
years and
is
years.
the state, we still have to come here.
Your state.
Okay.
There are people out there that called Bob and are not at the meeting tonight. How do you notify those people that they really
Without a permit.
Yeah, without
They've-
the
a lot
permit,
of
Why don't you
because
get a
there are
motion? You got a
people out
motion
there.
here. Why don't you get a second of it? I'll second that motion. Why don't you vote on it?
Yeah, I did, I seconded it.
Maybe you were gonna say
So,
something
and
about
we're all
putting
in favor
that
of it,
little
so.
shelter for kids to stand in, you know, you had to have a permit for it. You were told by.
Yeah, I asked them, and they said only if it's permanent.
Yeah, right.
If you're able to pick it up and move it, you don't have to.
Yeah, that's why we said, you know, I get your sons to, or whoever, to make a thing and put it on 2 pieces of 4x4, you know, drag it out there and you can put it there.
That's right.
That's what I did. Did you see that building?
No, I didn't see yours. You were just getting ready to put it down when I was over
I'm
there.
telling you, it's nice.
I
It's
wanna,
really
I
nice.
wanna thank this kid because he did a good job.
Oh, yes.
yeah, he told me.
Thank you. Thank you.
We should not.
Thanks, Brian. Good job.
Thank you.
Excellent job.
We should not have to do permits for stuff that is.
No.
He even knows about ICLEI and all that.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
I tell you everything.
And the zoning board guy came up to me and he said, thank you for bringing all this up. He thinks they should all get a copy of this.
And I really appreciate
Yeah,
you
well, I
saying
wouldn't buy them. They'd buy their own.
Oh, yeah, let them buy their own.
Pat, did you hear Pat told her? Oh, you'll have to give me one.
She already gave Pat one.
Oh, you
I gave
did?
her one like months and months back. But you notice how
She
she
don't
said,
even know it.
you notice how she said, oh, your husband voted for that, blah, blah. You know what I should have said? I should have said, well, that should tell you where Lloyd Loudon's allegiance is. It obviously isn't to his family. You know, and it's true. It's true. I mean, it's like the pastor said, he throws us under the bus constantly, me and his own son. And that's shameful. That's shameful.
There's so much,
That's shameful for a man that claims to be a Christian. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Linda was telling me, you know, 'cause you and her talked.
I'll figure out what they need.
12 years I've been living in that.
Exactly right. And
It's the whole, all the
like I
lines,
said
they're
to
all
them about the
twisted.
shed, I
Literally, they're all
said, "They're
twisted
gonna
like
get a permit for a
this.
shed.
Even
I want to
Crystal,
get out there
her
like
thinking,
kids
she thinks my husband's like a
Musket,
god.
they about
I mean,
freeze
she
out there
just
that
thinks
air
the
pump
world
you
of
out
my
that
husband. Oh, she only
And
knew.
I said, I want
Well,
a permit. I got
it's like
5 kids at home and I'm a
Crystal
single
was
parent.
very
You know,
deceived
I'd say,
about her own
I don't know
husband
where
and
they
his
get this
perversion and his problem.
I
So,
don't
and it is, it's
either
throughout the
because,
whole family.
you know,
There's
from
8 of them.
wherever
I don't know if you know that. There's 4 boys and 4 girls, and they're all,
You know, I think sheds are exempt.
it's sick. No, they're all very sick, twisted. Their minds are like twisted or sick.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, the thing is, I don't
if I would have known, I would never marry him.
because I don't
No way would I have ever married him. Never.
I don't have all the
I want to tell you.
and so on. And you know, it's like on the website, it's saying 2001. You know,
I'm dead. Look at the neighbors. And I got the ugliest look from Bob and Larry tonight. And from her. Did you see what I did tonight? Nobody ever did that to him. You're not the supervisor, she is. I'm talking to her.
Yeah, because that is true.
Sure.
And you know what? I could have brought out too. He said, what lies can you prove? What can you prove any of those lies? Well, there was a lot of them. The bus kids getting off the bus, all that stuff. I
There's
nobody
not
gets
eight
off
buses.
there.
Yeah, there's 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon.
The thing of it is her not using her position to get what she wants. And I said, that's the big one. And I also told the lawyer about it tonight. I said, we paid for her fight to try to get that property right across the road from us. And she even tried to get us in on it. I said, I think she deserves to pay that money back to the township people.
That ain't gonna go nowhere with him anyway.
I don't know, but he sat over there kind of quiet and like this and like that. And I thought, you just chew on that, buddy, because we know. Exactly.
Yeah, well, she's sucking up his ass all the time.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But
Thanks a lot.
really appreciate you coming to me.
And he's going to be after us, you watch.
They gotta advertise everything.
I'm sorry, I got.
Thank you. Hey, that's what it takes sometimes.
I
was in state government for 32 and a half years, almost 33 years, and I put up with this bullshit every day.
I traveled all over.
And I didn't put up with it down there, and I'm definitely not putting up with it here. Nobody's going to railroad.
The bad thing is like Jane. She gets $800 a month.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And my mother lives on the farm, and she doesn't, you know, the way that reads, we would have had to do her, we could use the shell off the farm to fix her driveway. Oh, yeah.
Well, with Pat getting that stone put on, and more brush too, okay, they do it for everyone. They're related to anyway.
Well, I know they called ahead. I know they called ahead. You
Sure,
can't
they
tell.
don't let you. She said that they came at night and she didn't even know they did it. I mean, she lies so much.
Well, you can't tell me, sit there and tell me you've lived here 30 years. I don't care if you lived here 30 years or 5 years. Man up, admit you signed the first one. Don't wave a piece of paper now.
That's her boyfriend over there in front of the kitchen.
Well, I don't care.
Yeah, well, he said, right, where you get off a little bit of that. I said, you're not supervisor, she is. I thought he, because what he does is he stands in the back of the room and she has to answer something and go,
He gives her signals what to
I think by me saying you're facing the public and they can see you're talking about everybody else and the comments you're making and the snide comments in the faces, I think that stopped.
She was also sitting there every time something was to be voted on.
Oh, I saw that. We saw
I hope it's on our tape recorder. I said, she's telling him what to do again. Can he think for himself? That's going to come out one of these meetings too, I'm telling you.
Well, she didn't have to worry about him turning the tape recorder up when I was talking. Because calm down, because the minute I get the...
No, you needed it. You needed it. When I had to say, if you would read the first letter that she wrote, that she's
Yeah, we need to find out that.
You work for H&S?
Used to.
Used to?
Yep.
Was Ted Shirley still involved with it?
That name doesn't sound familiar.
Oh, he owned it. He owned H&S.
Oh, no, it was,
He probably sold it, and I didn't even know if he was still alive. I went on hunting trips, we went out west hunting, and
no, I think they sold it to Rob. It's like Tenenbaum. It's really long.
Yeah.
Everybody calls him Big Guy.
Well, I worked for UPS, and I ran the automotive department. Well, I was up in Northwest Division, then they transferred me into Harrisburg, and we used H&S, and we used oh yeah, I forget the name. On South Cameron Street. Isn't that awful? Not Cameron Street. Whenever you come off Front Street and you get down around and it curves towards Paxton Street, he was right there. Yeah, isn't that awful?
I know who you mean.
Yeah, I used him all the time. He was a good guy.
Oh yeah, I used to go to UPS.
Oh really?
Yeah, I used to drive a heavy.
Yeah.
So I know. I went out on the turnpike the one morning, 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, and your mechanic actually yelled because he took a truck out to swap with him.
Sure.
But I got there so quick, the guy couldn't get any overtime. He's like, "Oh, I want an hour overtime. Can you just tell him you didn't get here yet?" I said, "No, I already called."
See, we even tried to keep away from doing that by getting, like if we'd call you guys or whoever, you know, we'd get them to take and hook their truck, tow it out, switch with the driver, and then bring the other one back.
That's what ABF does, Roadway does it.
Saved you a man.
ABF, we go down to their terminal in Carlisle, pick up a good rig, take it to wherever they were, drop it off, unhook the bad one, and bring it back.
Yes. Now it's the simplest thing. But then, hey, politics and the workplace change, and then somebody else comes in and they put something else into effect. So, but I was in the automotive all my life. In fact, whenever I was young, I ran a record for a garage in Harrisburg. Plus, I was on call all night, and I was a mechanic during the day. But yeah, I did my share of time.
I love taking I do all my own.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't pay anybody. I don't trust them.
I don't want anybody to do anything like this.
Yeah.
I take care of my dad.
That's good.
I do all that stuff.
Yep, I do all mine, and my kids, they come to me, right, Dad. Yeah, I got all the tools and everything.
Can't say I have all the tools because I'm always
Well, yeah, you can.
The only thing that's
a lifetime and fine.
The only thing I'll take mine in for is something goes wrong with the computer that I can't figure it out.
Yeah.
But then I'll just go down to, if I can drive it, I'll go to Advanced Auto, they'll read the codes for free. They'll tell you what it is. So unless it's something that their code reader can't pick up, that's the only way I take it to a dealership. Now that the warranty's up, I do all.
Hell, now they're making the damn things where you can't hardly touch it. No, sealed. They'll just. And they're so damn hard to work for now. Like trucks, all you gotta tear them off. The engine.
I want to put spark plugs in my truck. I have a Dodge, and it has a Hemi in it. How many spark plugs do you think I need?
Well, I would think 8.
Double it.
Oh, they put 2 sets.
16 in it. Because it has the engine management system. When I'm going down the highway, it'll actually shut down cylinders to save fuel.
Yeah.
For some reason, it needs another spark plug per cylinder. And if you go and get like those E3s, the new ones, they're supposed to be really good. They're like $16 a piece. And then I need 16 of them. That's like 130 something bucks. Just for freaking
Well, I put spark plugs in my car. I got a 2000 GMC, and whenever I went and bought spark plugs, I didn't skimp on them. I bought the best one. Now it cost me $90 for plugs. But hey, if it has, another, because I had almost 100,000 miles. So 2,000. I don't have 100,000 miles of it. And hey, it goes that long without putting plugs in, and last week, I'm happy as a possum eating shit.
79,000, and I still haven't changed the both. It's not missing. So I'm like, okay, if I can make it to 80, 85,000 before I have to change it, I'll do it.
Yeah.
But the new ones, the coils are right on top. And if those start to go, we might as well just change them all.
You know what I found out with it? You know, all the computer shit and everything else. Simplest thing is go in and grab a hole and stuff, feel it, see something loose, or go to the old theory that it used to be before all this shit came out. You know, hey, it was doing this whenever they didn't have all this shit, so I'm going to go right there. Hey, mechanical model.
It's like, it has fuel, it has spark, and it has air, and it has to run. It has to. If it has those three in the right ratio, it has to run.
Or some stupid sensor, you know, like, well, my son, we were going down to Myrtle Beach, and he was following me. He calls me on the telephone, he says, hey, Daddy, me and my truck won't hardly run at all. Well, I didn't have nothing wrong, or whatever, so I said, well, we'll find somewhere. We were down Richmond, close to Richmond, so we go into Richmond for Jesus, 3.5 freaking hours later, the guy finally takes the sensor off the exhaust, you know, the oxygen sensor, puts a new one on.
See, I have a problem with mine. Every once in a while, my check engine light will come on. Because there's a short in one of the two wires. And those wires are tiny. I tried to probe it to try to figure out where the break was. I can't probe it. Even with a pinpoint, I can't probe them. They're so tiny. They just roll. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, the way shit's so sensitive anymore, hell, it's like, well, I just got a new heat. I heat my house with groundwater heat. Yeah, so I just got a new geothermal system put in because I felt mine was an old one, 25, 30 years old. I'm going to get a new one because they had to have made it more efficient. So I read up on them and I called it down and that's that sucker's so sensitive. The least little thing you do to it will affect the way it operates. You know, hey, filter that you would put in for the cold air return, no, you don't use that anymore. And I have to clean that electronic filter. It has an electronic filter. I got to clean that electronic filter every so often, and I better not skip it because it'll affect the way. I mean, it's like having an air sensor, mass air sensor on a car, and with the thing. What the hell are they going to do next? But, life is what it is, I guess.
It's everybody trying to make money.
Yeah.
Oh, let's just change this a little bit. They don't have to take it away.
But, and I go with this deal. I was from the old school. Hell, I used to do, I'm 72 years old. And I would get cars in, and we had straight 8 Buicks. And in fact, that was the first one. Okay, I tear it down. And no, we didn't put new bearings in. The bearings weren't scored, from the crankshaft looked good and everything. So you shim them, So you use the shim stock, and you do each one, and every one's different. Well, how many guys nowadays will take and they can read a micrometer and figure out, you need 200,000 shim or something like that.
They want to take the easy way.
Yeah, or the old GM, that had 4 bearings in it.
Well, now they make this product. It's a little, almost like a piece of dental floss, but it's spongy. That you put a piece across your bearing and tighten that bearing down, and then take it off and read it on a piece of paper.
We call it plastic.
They still have that.
Yeah.
And I use that.
Yeah. Well, they came out with that later on.
Yeah.
And I thought, good God, whoever invented that shit.
Yeah. I mean, I used it. I spun a bearing on the truck that I had. And I used that and said, okay, I'm not going to get shims. I'm just going to get an oversized bearing. I need the bearing for this type of truck, but I need it in the sun. I said, oh, yeah, okay. We'll have it tomorrow. Okay, I'll be back tomorrow to pick it up. And it was only the one. Checked all the other ones. The other ones are still in spec. But if I would have taken that to a garage, they would have said, oh, you need to do the whole bottom end. Do it all.
Yeah, take things out there, have it reground.
Yeah.
Right.
It's all about the bottom dollar.
Yeah.
Oh, well, how can we screw this guy today?
Yeah, well, you know, like I said, back whenever I was, you know, in the early 60s, how he repairs.
I'd love to get my hands on an old car.
Oh, yeah.
Old muscle car. No computer, no electronics.
Yeah.
I gotta find it.
Yeah, that's my boy bought a 69 Chevy, or you know, what was it, Camaro. And we tore that thing down and built it up. So my son,
they can get expensive.
My son, he says, I want to put those, what the hell was the bearing that he wanted to put in it. But I said, hey, let's just stick with regular bearings. He wanted these other bearings, and I think they're Chrome rings now. And I didn't want him to put them in. Well, we put them in because he wanted them. Well, the damn thing, the rings didn't want to break in. And,
oh, so he wanted the chrome molly pistons. And
sure, and you know, wouldn't break in. How it, you know, I mean, he had ended up tore it down. We did it wrong. But it was a runner. My younger son got the car then. Well, I got the car first, my son, my oldest son. And I give him a couple acres for the car. And then we took and I had at the house.
I need the key to get in the car so I can get form a letter that owes people stuff, honey.
Oh, okay.
And I'm locked out. She'll be out there.
Okay.
You're locked out.
Sorry, Carmela.
Yeah.
Anyway, my other son, the youngest son, he bugged his mother and bugged his mother and they wanted that car. So she put pressure on me and said, just give me that. Well, then he ran it up at Beaver Springs. Oh, he won trophies after trophies, you know. It was good because I put I forget what the hell. You know, guys that say 3/4 cam or something. Well, this was a good cam, and it ran. Plus, I had I think it was an 800 Holly carburetor. It ran. But I still can't believe it. How we go to the drift.
oh yeah.
Yeah. Hey. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay.
Hell, it's wonder Carl Wadensky didn't go to sleep in there. Oh, the stuff that they were doing at first, you know, getting all that. Yeah, that's what. Because we'd have been out there way long time ago.
All that nitty-gritty stuff. I mean, wouldn't that be? It would seem to me that all that should have been taken care of before the meeting.
And they did start 15 minutes early.
Yeah, but what I mean is a case of saying, okay, you know, an engineer or something, you've reviewed all this, is it okay with you? Okay, yes, all right, what do you think? You know, and boom. You know, it just seems to me that it could have been great.
Oh, Frank, he just asked every little thing.
Yeah.
The markings on the page.
Yeah.
Well, Frank had it, the imprint right in front of him. He should have seen it. Because you pointed it out right on the one you had on the board.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I thought, come on, Frank.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Frank's smart, but sometimes you're so smart you're dumb.
I know what you mean, yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I know.
guy can't think their way out of a paper.
Yeah.
They can write formulas all over the walls and figures, but hey, actually do whatever you have to do, you know, it don't work.
Yeah. Yeah,
But-
I know what you mean.
Hey, you know, a down-to-earth guy, you use your head, you know, common sense and
Yeah.
things work.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Well, you know.
Yeah, I know. Also, from experience, you can go ahead and build a plan to the nth degree, and as soon as you get halfway through it, you throw half of it out. You know what I mean?
What the hell did you miss for?
Yeah, exactly. I know in IT, I went to a place one time, and they were like, well, let's sit down and make a plan on how we're going to do this. And I said, you know, we can spend all day making a plan, or we can get it done. We got it done.
That's right. Well, we had, with CPS, we had a lot of problems with Ford had, they had a brake master cylinder that was mounted right on the brake pedal shaft underneath it on the truck. Well, they were pieces of shit. They had trouble with them all the time. So I got with my two mechanics in Williamsport, you know, and hey, we got an idea, you know. And they told me the whole plan, how they were going to do this. And I says, hey, knock yourself out and let me see it whenever it's done. I approved it. Oh, did I ever get my ass in this thing over it? Because I didn't go to corporate first. And what happened is one of the big executives came into my building up there and lifted the hood up. What the hell is that?
Oh, yeah.
Then I explained what it was, and I said it works like a charm.
Yeah.
We can't have that.
Yeah, I know that feeling. I did that at the state, stuff like that.
And I thought, hey, UPS takes all the responsibility for the vehicles because it's a UPS vehicle. So why couldn't we change it?
Yeah, you know, it's like in software, you know, we always said, well, why don't we go ahead and use this free application it does with this literally $50,000 application, or whatever. You know, many times pick a price, it could be a lot more. Well, we don't have anybody to sue. Okay. Did you read the agreement when you bought the $50,000 application? You can't sue them anyhow. You know? I mean, really. You know,
yeah, you're on your own, pal.
Yeah, that's exactly what the agreements say. The EULA, as they call it, User License Agreement or whatever. You know, it's this huge bit of legalese about a mile long.
Yeah, I
but
read
what it
that.
really says is that, you know, basically they're exempt from anything. You know, if your business crashes and burns because their application failed, you can't go back on them. You know, it's all your own risk. And then they'll sit there and say, well, we can't sue anybody because we're using something free. Right. Yeah, that argument blew me away.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Then we were using free software to handle what are called firewalls, which control network traffic. Okay, communications between computers is what it amounts to. It directs and controls on what can go through, what can't go through. And we were doing it for free. Didn't cost a dime using old hardware. Okay? Not a dime. Well, we couldn't use that because it wasn't supported by some big company. So instead they got rid of that and went with, you know, systems that cost $10,000, $20,000 or more a box, plus the licensing and the regular licensing per a certain period of time, like yearly licensing fees and all this other stuff. You know, we were saving the state tens of thousands a year minimum just with those machines we were running. Nope, can't use it. No.
Blows your mind.
It does, really does.
You think we're in the hell with these guys educated?
Well, yeah.
Making decisions.
Yeah, one of the decisions made, I wish I could remember all the details, involved buying new PCs as opposed to leasing them. And the argument was leasing was a lot better. It had to do something with keeping the budget for PCs. You know, it's like, okay, so we're going to be spending more taxpayers' money, so we can go ahead and lease these machines, and after you're done leasing them, you have to shred the hard drives, buy new hard drives, and give them back to the manufacturer in the condition which you got them. And, you know, the cost is enormous. But no, we don't want to lose that budget. We want to keep spending all that money. Yeah.
I was down to Atlanta. So, you know, I went the CEO for UPS, you know. Went in his office. Guess what he's got on his computer? Or on his desk? One of the
oldest computers that we had.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and and I thought, holy crap, I started on one of these.
Yeah.
But that's what he had on his desk.
Yeah.
He's a frugal guy.
Yeah. Might have never used
Hey,
it.
that's why. Well, that could be too. You know,
Yeah.
you might go to somewhere else, and it might be just for
Yeah.
aesthetics or whatever you call it.
Yeah, it could be. Because, yeah, I found some people, they don't use computers hardly at all. Okay?
Yeah.
And the thing is you know, we had a guy that literally every time he came into my office, I'd have him laughing. Okay? And he was a lawyer. Okay? You know, you'd have all the, law degrees, everything up on the, the ego wall, right?
And by the way, what was her name?
And every time he'd come in with a computer problem, it was a case of, okay, which power switch do I have to turn on?
They were high on
Yeah, that was how I solved the problem. I mean, literally. This guy's so smart. But it was a case of, okay, which power switch,
Yeah.
Is it the monitor on, the power strip, or the computer? Or a combination?
Yeah.
And then I just walk out trying to keep a grin off my face. But yeah, some.
Oh, so did she. Just the way they sat there.
I'll tell you, I got a real lesson with
Uh-huh.
UPS reimburses me.
Uh-huh.
For anything I pull out of my pocket that's illegal.
Yeah.
Up to a certain dollar.
Uh-huh.
So, but I have to submit it.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to submit it before the end of this past month.
Uh-huh.
Or by the end.
Uh-huh.
So, I pulled this up and I thought, oh man. It's going to take me. It's going to take me a while before I understand even how to enter stuff.
Oh yeah.
So my daughter, she's a malpractice insurance underwriter. So I says, Tina, I says, can you help me? She says, oh yeah. I says, well.
Your box is still in there.
Okay, thank you.
Do you have a key?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Well, anyway,
And guys, just for the record,
I wanted help. So she says, well, bring all your stuff. I took up to her place. And she sat down there and walked me through everything. She put everything in. And repetitiously, I know how to do that. She says, well, don't worry. I can do it a lot faster than you. Because we had till midnight to submit everything.
Yeah.
And we had a stack of stuff like that. And we submitted everything because you don't know what they're going to what they're going to reject or throw out.
Yeah, some of these systems are, I mean, and I'll admit, some of these systems, the way they write them, the way they do the interfaces, there's a lot to be desired.
Out here with them at the last.
Because, we had a system that I rewrote, a document management system. One of the things I did was I made it a lot easier. Because originally you had to all but write a book in order to upload your document. There was so much information you had to enter, it was unreal. So yeah, that I simplified because it was just, it was a case of you can understand why people didn't want to use it.
Yeah.
Because it was nasty.
Yeah, make it simple.
Yeah. Yeah. But
Yeah,
the systems, some of these systems, like we had one for remedy system for entering trouble tickets that people would have with their computers. That system was awful. Yeah, that system there was just, what happens with some of these is they start out with something simple 10, 15 years ago, and they keep building on the same thing. And then they end up with a mess.
Quagmire.
Yeah, it is. It ends up being a quagmire. At some point, it's just throw it out and start over because it's just unreal. The stuff you have to go through to make changes to it, to upgrade it, to use it. Yeah. Some computer software is lousy. I'm a programmer, so I've seen some of the back ends of this stuff, and it's awful.
Sometimes I get so frustrated with what I'm doing that I back out of what I'm doing. I don't delete it or anything like that, but I just let it sit, and I back out, I'll start playing solitaire.
Oh, yeah.
Until I win.
Yep. Yeah.
And then I'll go back. And
I know that feeling.
And The only thing is, my wife, I have to get her in the coach, but she opens everything she gets in the mail. And I had 5 things. I got into my computer. They got it in from, where was that in Africa?
Nigeria.
Nigeria.
Oh, one of those.
Yeah. And I had like 95,000 hits in my computer.
Wow.
It cost me $300 to get the protection, the lifetime protection, and make it in my computer and clean it up.
Yeah.
It took about 8 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it takes a while.
and I took and what I did too is I was having trouble. I couldn't do a lot of stuff on the computer and it was thrown down. Well, whenever I got the internet with CenturyLink, they gave me these fillers and they said, you put these fillers on. Well, I had a filler on it, and here the filler wouldn't let me send faxes and do a lot of other things. Yeah, and nobody told me about it. Yeah, they did. I did call somebody and they said, well, I got this girl on there and she says, did you have fillers put on your system? I says, yeah. And she says, well, where you have them on the line coming in from your high-speed internet? And I says, I think I do. I said, well, hold on. I crawled into the desk. Sure enough, I had them on. She said, I said, yes, it's on here. She said, take it off. I took it off. She checked my system. She said, you're good to go.
We better let him go home.
Yeah.
What time is it?
Oh, wow.
Well, not really. I'm usually up till midnight, 1 o'clock.
That's what we are.
And I got a book
You
to
are
read too, so I'll probably be up till 1 o'clock reading because I'm like that.
That's what I do.
Read a book.
Yeah, I go to bed and I read the book. I read and
Yeah, I saw a movie this past weekend, Divergence, and so I was like, and I looked it up, found out there was a book series. I was like, well, I'll go ahead and get that and read it, you know?
You know what, though? The movies and books are never the same.
They aren't.
drive me crazy.
A lot of them aren't, but I'll tell you, I did watch a movie recently where it was almost identical.
Oh, that's odd.
And it was odd.
Yeah, it's really
it was
odd.
odd. And this one I think is pretty close. I think this one's really close.
Yeah, because
I'll know it soon.
I'm disappointed if I watch one and then go read another one or whatever. They're not the same. I'm thinking I'm expected to see what I read.
Yeah, it's like, Lord of the Rings. I read that whole series, and then you go watch the movies, and there are so many discrepancies. It's amazing. I mean, I don't know if you've ever read Lord of the Rings.
No, I watched some of the
episodes.
I watched some of the programs they had on.
But the differences between the book and the books really and the movies are just phenomenal. And it stays fairly true to the story, but there's a huge number of differences. It's not as bad as some.
Yeah.
Some I've seen where you look at the book and you look at the movie and you're like, yeah, right.
He reminds me of Matt.
Yeah, doesn't he, though?
Yeah. My grandson, Matt Wolf. Do you know him?
Not that I know of.
How old's Matt?
Matt's older than him.
Yeah, I don't remember the name.
He's in 38, somewhere around there.
Oh, where'd he go to school? Susquehanna?
Yeah. He went to college up at
Matt Wolf.
Yeah, I think Chad's about.
Well, I'm 39.
Are you?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm 39.
Yeah, he played football a couple of years, too.
Okay.
Yeah, he played football and then he went to Juniata College. And, he got his degree. And he's going to, what's he after now? He lives in South Carolina. So, he sent us a couple of T-shirts from the college he's going to. So.
Yeah, the name, I mean, I'll tell you what, there's
he was very quiet.
Okay.
Quiet kid.
You see, I was in the band, so if he was in football, I went to every football game.
Yeah.
So, I'm sure I've seen him there somewhere.
I forget what his number was.
Yeah.
I say 18, but I could be wrong.
I would have no idea. There's only one football game I ever paid attention to.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was a championship football game where they missed, they lost by like several yards.
Oh,
It was,
my
I mean,
gosh.
it was the only football game in high school I ever watched carefully, because, like I said, I mean, it was a great game. They lost by like several yards, and it was a shame. But yeah,
That's heartbreaking.
yeah. But the other ones I never paid any attention to.
You really have them for you.
Yeah, I broke
Yeah, it's getting a little cool.
Yeah, I have this silk thing on, and when the air hits it, it's like it's got cold water on it.
Oh.
You know, I used to work like this. I worked like this all the time, you know, suit on.
Yeah.
And what I did is up in Hometown, they have a place up there that they make insulated underwear. But they also made it for the person that wears a suit.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. And I went in there, I thought, oh.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like they had a discount store in Tamaqua. And I went into Tamaqua and they were like, oh man, I found a couple of 3 pairs of these and I bought them up. And I wear them because a lot of the buildings I went to, I had to work right at where the vehicles come in, the mechanics area and stuff. All the doors are open. And it's 5 below 0. Up there in Hometown, you know, on top of the mountain there. But hey,
that was a great idea. Cause I know times I've worn a suit and it's cold out. It's like, oh.
I had top coat, but it was a pain in the butt to put it on, and then I couldn't do what I had to do because I'm in and out of files there. Because of scheduling, you know, and seeing what's done, what isn't done. But they were a good thing. I don't know if our place is still up there. But I know they were like that quilted leg stuff, but it was it was thin.
Okay.
But it was warm.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah,
I can see that being.
But anyway, hey, it's fun.
All right.
Again, thank you very much.
Talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon. Take care.
What? You mean Carmelis?
Where we can send the papers that she sends us with all of the ethics committee. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a letter from you and I in there stating that we are very upset because she used her position and tried to involve us in her scheme of trying to get the house across the street. And we paid for it on our tax dollars until she used all the money up that was allotted to that, and then she dropped it. So she had to use her own money. Yeah, but she said, I did tell you what she said. I said about that stuff going home with her, and she looks at me, she says, that's another lie. I said, oh my word. That woman lies and lies and lies and lies. Now, Rebecca Richmond said that she never saw so much hate in a room in her life. Miss High and Mighty.
I tell you, there was a lot of upset people there because they hung around.
They did. They hung around until the what they came for came up.
That's right. Because, hey, that's...
Carl even, you know what Carl said? He was trying to shut Carmeletta up. And I said, she's allowed to talk. And he said, no, her time's up. I said, no, it's not. And you know what? He backed off. He says, well, I'm cutting her time. I said, no, you're not. I said, don't mess with me, Carl. I did thank him. You know, so I told him, I said, you know what? I said, she makes you look really bad. You know that. I said, she's sitting in there saying, Carl. I said one time, why don't you let him alone and let him think for himself?
Yeah, and hey, everybody noticed it.
Exactly. You know what did he say that she did to him? Oh my gosh, what did he say she did? Oh, I know what it was. She got, remember that card that was sent out up that Carl and I don't know how many of the other ones back Bob Snyder, and it was a lie. He took it to his attorney. His attorney said, you can sue her. He said, but my fee is $3,500. Well, he said, I'm not going to pay $3,500 to sue her. I said, you know what? I said, she acts like she's the only supervisor up at the front of that, the head of that table. And I said, there's 3 of you up there. And like Frank said, who gave you the permission? Well, that secretary was sticking up for her a little bit. I didn't think that was too great either. And she didn't come out and say that Pat told them to bring the stone either. When in that letter said she didn't know when they were coming. Well, we asked the lawyer if we could turn that stuff into the ethics committee. No, he said no. He said, I really couldn't do that. He said the supervisors would have to decide something like that. Okay. So we asked Carl.
You and Don?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
And Bonnie was there too. I don't know if Jane stuck around the whole time or not.
Yeah, she left. She was tired.
Yeah, I think that's when Carl got a little bit,
And she didn't even get her chance to really
to talk right now.
I felt bad for her.
Yeah, and Donna blamed it all on her. She's the one that started all this. I thought, that's a terrible thing to say. She didn't start anything. The enforcement officer did.
Yeah, well, they had said something earlier in the meeting there about, you had to be a resident of the township for so long before you could hold an office. Well, I asked that secretary. Oh, she says that was for the wasn't for the enforcement officer. Who the hell was it?
Sorry, it's a shame.
And because I was going to jump right on that. Then why in the hell is he? Why is he doing the position here? And he hasn't even been here that long.
No, he's only been here, well, he came in, he said in 07. I thought he's been only up here for a couple of years.
He hasn't even been up here a couple of years. They just got his house done.
That's what I thought. He said he's been up here since 2007.
Oh,
and I'm
he had
thinking,
property up here.
Okay, but he has not lived here
Right.
that long.
No, he just moved in there.
Well, that's what he said. I've been here since 2007.
I remember him saying he has had property up here.
Okay, he's had property, which made it sound like he's lived here that long.
No, he had property here.
He should have said he had land here. Property is to me, is a house. Am I stupid? Hey,
well, actually, your property is anything you own. But yeah, he tries to burn our house down.
Yeah, anyhow.
Because he burnt their house down back there. Hey, did you hear those?
Yeah, I can hear them. See, this is what Sam is afraid of. What kind of power that it's not. Oh, no, he used it yesterday, not today.
Yeah. I think you lost.
I don't know.
Well, he thought he was going to jump in there and protect it.
Yeah, he did. He didn't know Linda was on board. Somebody else said that too. After I said it, somebody else backed me up.
Well, I yelled at him.
I think Bonnie did too. I don't know if Bonnie did too. I know I heard you other people calling.
Yeah, I hollered at him.
Maybe it was Brady who said you should shut up. I know that.
I don't know. But he don't
I'm just tired of their crap.
scare me.
She better not email me. She better not call me. She better not do anything. Or I'm going to call the police.